No, I mean, there's events that happen that I have no knowledge of.
But can that be from administration, that we want the community involved in our school? In order to do that, you have to notify the district calendar.
So if a club is having fundraising at a restaurant,
No,
does
I
that
mean,
typically
there's
appear on the calendars?
Well,
if they share it, yeah.
Yeah.
We're live now.
Because I know that.
And a lot of times they'll send out an announcement with a flyer and,
Yeah, like Odyssey of the Mind's having one tomorrow at Sunburn from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And there'll be a flyer that gets sent out tonight. Saying reminder tomorrow this is happening, and it'll be on, it gets sent out to all staff, all districts, all social medias, Odyssey of the Mind's district place.
So should coaches be sending you those? Because I know ours don't get shared, but it's probably because they don't share
They
it.
should be sending it, the administration at their site should be handling that for them. But if they send them to myself or even the technical department, we can do it for them, but they ultimately should be doing, the sponsors are the ones that should be doing that, or contacting their administration.
Okay.
Okay, I'm a Luddite. Where is the district calendar on the website? Fine. Over there.
And also, at the last board meeting, didn't we discuss something about potentially having a little newsletter or
Like a
something
community
going,
newsletter, yeah.
that goes out? So that might have
So
both
just
events.
events.
It falls under.
Okay, well then here,
Media, it's just.
I'm also a fifth grader.
Well, would CTE be
So on the
able to help
website,
with
it's
that,
not-
those
I mean,
the
on the
students,
phone,
like
it's
if
not
you
shot.
give them,
We would have to see,
Oh.
perhaps,
Thank you.
Grant wants to go with
Thank you,
it.
dear.
But then we're trying to get everyone to communicate with them also.
Right, yeah.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Just for reference with Mr. Ellis, on the website, I'm in the district, I'm trying to drive this upside down. So if you just scroll right here to events,
And then you can also see it in calendar form.
okay.
So one of the things we talked about events is it just has school board meeting. And I was telling Dr. Winters that it would be nice if we could put our agenda underneath that so people knew what we were talking about at the school board meeting. So maybe do a link or something, because they might be interested in a topic that we're talking about or have on our agenda.
Just a link to board docs.
Yeah, just to the agenda.
because isn't it, when you go
I
to
haven't seen
governing
her
board,
since then,
it's
so.
on-
That's okay. I thought to bring it up while everybody's here.
It's on the governing board page, but she's talking about having linked to the event.
Because you just go straight down that page, and so a lot of times it's hard to see the other stuff, find it. So this would be something they'd see right away.
So more user-friendly,
Yeah.
so they don't have to search.
And then FYI, I've just been appointed to the, I don't even know what they call it, but it's the, like advisory board to Tartesso's HOA, even though we don't have an HOA. So I'll be attending those however many times I don't know anything until next month, but that should help if anything comes up as far as sharing.
Okay.
I think, Alicia, too, if we have the YouTube link, we could put it like right there, so it's event, board meeting, agenda, and YouTube, if that's possible. I don't know if that's
I
possible.
can link our YouTube channel.
Yeah, there you go,
But because the link will be different every
Yeah.
meeting, but I can link the channel.
yeah.
Three, all protocol. Four,
We just kind of talked about that.
board members are accessible to gain information from the community.
I don't know if we're accessible, but
I don't know, when I'm on Facebook, I always say, you know,
Yeah.
give me a call if you have
Yeah.
a concern, but,
If they call me, I tell them I'll ask.
pardon.
If they have a legitimate, like, question or concern, I'll tell them that I can ask and find out the information if I don't have the information. I don't just volunteer it.
My question would be, how do you define accessible? Because like, your contact information is known, that's public.
The email, yeah.
They can come to government, is accessible, and I'm sure in some people's eyes is that you're just kind of standing out on the side of the road, hey, I can come talk, what's accessible, I'm not sure.
Go from door to door.
Yeah,
Like, sometimes they catch you at the games in the parking
Yeah.
lot.
I think we get the same thing.
But I think this is board members are accessible to gain information from the community, not community from the board members.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So the majority of the board thinks this is a problem, so those that scored needs improvement. Be good to hear.
That's when I said probably what we talked about earlier about, being more aware of things that are happening with our community and sharing those. But if we don't know what's going on in the community, it's hard to be accessible. I know you belong to some organization in Tonopah, don't you? Yes, you do.
Which one?
I don't know, but see, you belong to a lot of them, so I'm sure they have events or things they're doing.
Not lately. Ever since COVID, we told people to stay home, and they stay home.
Well, you need some young people on it.
I know, so if you can tell me how to recruit young people for
I
nonprofits,
know.
we'll write a book and
You're
become
right, there we
rich.
go, I know.
Oh, there is something, Myrna's Place is doing something Saturday, January 24th for teachers to get school supplies for their classrooms, and I volunteered for that, so I don't know if other people want to volunteer, but it benefits Saddle Mountain Unified School
when is
District teachers. You can volunteer on Thursday or Friday. I'll send you the link.
Thursday or Friday.
And then
This week?
Saturday, and Saturday is the event where the teachers will pick up.
If you want to send it to me,
supplies.
Mrs. Allen, I can share it with the
I will,
group.
I will do that.
And
But
where's it
Just
at?
need to make sure that I know about that in case I need to.
Have more than one board
I'll
member.
send it
Yeah.
to you both right now in an email.
And where's it at?
Myrna's Place, it's the old APS office on 4th Street, and I'll send you well, I'll send him the flyer, he'll send you the address.
Okay, yeah, because I have no idea where Myrna's is.
Before I forget.
Now, going back to what Ms. Blackson said, is something that the majority of the board thinks needs improvement. Is there something you guys think that, is there some sort of action the board could take to?
Yeah, how can the board be more accessible?
I think I answered needs improvement, but I know that I'm out there, but I just thought, like, for myself, that I could do more, like, attending more, because sometimes I can't be present, because of, my kids. But I just felt there's some things I don't know about that I would like to attend, and that, I haven't made a big presence in Torteso, just out here, so I'm not in all of the community, I'm in part of our quote community.
So you're saying like 10 more school events, whether it's a basketball game or a baseball game or a football game or volleyball or?
Yes, more than just a walkthrough at
drama.
the school. Like, I feel like I should be doing more because the community and even kids sometimes don't know who we are or what we do, and that we're not there showing our face, so they think, we're kind of not doing anything, just here at the meeting, but just
I
that
think
we're
part of that
accessible.
then would be at some of the events, maybe the school board members should be recognized. Because, like I go to Winter's Well for the program there, and there's a zillion people, it's standing only, and
Yeah.
nobody knows you.
You don't know
Yeah.
who you are or what you do,
And
or
we talked about that.
then when you leave, they have questions, and they're like, oh, well, that's that person, like,
Yeah, we need to make sure when we're at those events that the principal or whoever makes sure that they saying we have a board member with us or several board members or whatever. So the people know, the community knows we're attending those things.
So then it's our obligation to check in, make sure they know we're there.
That's what I was gonna say, is that if, I can make it the expectation to the principals that if board members are present, make sure you acknowledge that they're here. And then, but also you guys gotta let them know that you're there, obviously. And I just do think, for me, and maybe I'm dead wrong, but perceptually, I think having the board meetings available online now, I think that, to me, that increases accessibility, because what are we getting, 100 people, 150 people or so watching a board meeting?
is that more than before?
But we didn't have any.
Oh, the staff though, right? The staff.
Yeah.
watch it
That would be
online?
very minimal.
Yeah.
Now we actually have the community watching, not just staff.
Oh, okay.
Well, and something I mentioned to Dr. Winters too is, we have open houses for parents and that sort of thing, but what if we had an open house for the community? Like for any, people just in the community don't necessarily have kids in the school, but could do a walk through the school and then afterwards have a question session or whatever.
Well, I don't know, I've seen like where we do it for ELL, where they come for coffee and they do like their little get-togethers at the school, where I think it's on the vouchers, where they have a grant though, where that gets funded for their parents to come and kind of have like,
But that's parents.
but with their kids at the school.
Right.
But we don't do that for the other kids, so it would be nice to do that
I
as
mean, you
a school.
attended community forums that
Yeah.
we've tried.
Right.
And you see the attendance. It's
Well,
not for a lack of
yeah.
sending out information and trying.
Well, I think you try again.
Well, and we have.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we've done
But I mean, I think,
here.
I don't know if I'm aware of it, I can get more information out. I haven't been here since we've done a community event. So that's a year.
We did 2 community forums
Before the bond,
before the bond went over, right? You were at both?
Oh, yeah, well, that was specific. I mean, I'm talking about have them come in and, because what do we all hear? What are you teaching our kids?
Yeah, and I think that's what
Teaching, yeah.
she's talking about, like we have come to a school, go and tour,
Yeah,
because to help with that perception of, well, I don't like what you're teaching the kids, and then you ask what you're teaching the kids, and it's all the stuff we're not teaching kids. Then I also say, if you have a problem with what we're teaching, you need to go to the State Board of Education, because they're the ones who tell us what we have to teach. And that's what we're doing,
Yeah.
you know?
but I think we gave the community an opportunity to actually walk through one of our schools and tour it, and then had an opportunity to ask questions or whatever. We might get more people, I don't know. It's worth trying, I think.
well, maybe a lost opportunity was when we opened up the high school, have a community event.
Yeah.
Come see the new building at the high school
Yeah,
and then have tours. It's good too, that if we had students giving tours.
yeah.
We did that at Desert Sunset when it opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that was the purpose of the, back to school night as well.
Yeah, and that's specifically for families. We're talking people who don't necessarily have kids in the schools, to try to reach out to folks that just aren't affiliated, or that they have a misconceived notion of what's actually happening in the school, so they can actually come in and see, to try to combat some of that stuff. But you're right, that there's definitely multiple opportunities for parents and kids to come in, but we're kind of talking about people who just aren't associated with the school in any way.
And there's times too for the, meet the teacher, it's usually like August 21st or whatever, when you go and meet the teachers at the high school, and they're like, oh, we don't usually have people come. So then they're like, what are you doing here? Like, they're not prepared for you. And then they're like, well, your son's doing fine. Why do you need to be here? And then you call people and we're like, oh, how come you didn't go to meet the teacher? Well, I thought it was for kids who have bad grades. So, I mean, I don't think the true message of what it is and what we're trying to do with Meet the Teacher is really that the community understands what that's for, because they think it's for kids struggling and that you don't really want to see them, and they don't know that it's like a whole event going
Yeah,
on
yeah.
and community engagement, but yeah.
That's the way, I mean, my kid's high school has 3,000 kids in it, and I'd go to meet the teacher, 6 of us would be there too. It was, unfortunately, I mean.
We could host a meet the board night.
Mm-hmm.
It's the beginning of the new year, meet your board.
But we used to have carnivals at the elementary school, at least I remember from Tartessa, where we would have the community.
We used to do
And they're pretty well attended.
Desert
and-
still does that, and it's open to the community.
What is
Actually
it?
had a circus come in.
Oh, yeah. But it's not the same as actually touring the school and seeing what we're doing.
Well, are you talking about touring the school during class day?
Yeah,
that would be,
I think it depends on the number of people. It potentially could be highly disruptive to the operation of the school. It just kind of, I'd actually, if it was smaller, it would be
Right.
okay, like when we take the board around, but if it's like 50 people showed up, that would be pretty,
No, that would be a little difficult.
yeah.
But at least we'd get them in the school and we could, bring them into the multi-purpose room.
But it wouldn't even hurt to do like, hey, here's the state standards, here's what we teach.
Right.
Nowhere does it say we teach all the things that people,
Right.
kitty litter boxes and that stuff. I think a big issue is that we still have to figure out how to reach, and we've talked about it a little bit, how to reach the people who don't have, the other 70% of family, people who don't have kids in the schools. That's the point, that's the part that we need to.
They have a public lands day, and I was thinking, could you have a public school day? And that might work in with your other thing going on.
We do, I don't know what date it is, but there's a there is a public school day or a public school week or something like that.
What time of the year, do you remember?
I don't remember.
When
Fine.
Doesn't Sunset hosted the mayor that one time? There was a good community turnout.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the board didn't know. I would have gone, and that's why I asked that we put those events on the.
And the topic of that was growth, like City of Buckeye growth, Chartesso growth, right? So it wasn't school related, but maybe having someone else come. And then, but it being sponsored by us and the board would then bring the non-parent community members.
yeah, that's a good point.
Because it's gonna have to be something not school related to get non-school parents in the door.
Well, maybe you can get the mayor to come out.
I think he would.
Yeah.
I think the mayor would. I've got a good relationship with
We have
him.
a good relationship.
Well-
I mean, he came for one of our walks.
Yeah,
Do you think we could
he
get?
didn't walk, but.
He didn't walk, but he, yeah.
Right, but he was there, yeah.
Well, since it's re-election for Hobbs, do you think she would come?
Or
To talk about
Michael
school and key
Carbone,
issues?
Or she can say his name.
Nick Cupper,
Because you have the auditorium.
That's a
Don Cupper, Carbone,
Thank you.
Senator Dunn,
yeah,
or Rep Cupper, or Rep Carbone.
yeah.
And Miss Kerr, right?
I mean, we might be able to, if we get a
Curve?
No,
guest
she-
speaker.
Guest
who's
speaker, yeah.
Yeah,
Dunn
I
took
mean,
her
it could
place.
still be about public education, but you might get non-community members or non-parent members there if you have someone other than the people in this room talking.
Yeah, yeah.
well, and we could still do it, like, not during the day, but later, so that people that at work could come. You know, so you wouldn't be disrupting classes, but you could still give them a tour of the school.
Yeah, when the mayor was there, it was, what, 6 o'clock or something?
Yeah.
It was after hours.
But it was a good turnout.
Mhm.
And I recognized people in the crowd that I knew weren't parents, just because I live in the community
Right.
too. So I knew that it brought in non-parents.
Right.
You could get the sheriff to come. He's been cracking down community safety and all of that, and school safety. Maybe he could tie them together.
That would be my suggestion, is having a guest speaker of some sort.
Yeah, I think that would,
Okay.
I'll just, our success with communication from that department is
Not good.
challenging.
We could just have Wendy come, she talks great about school,
Yeah. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea.
because she's really, like, she'll get the crowd.
Mhm.
Who's Wendy?
Wendy is the consultant we work with that's helped us with all of our school safety programs and plans.
Yeah, and that's another, like, the school safety plan in our board handbook, it says that we're supposed to know, and I know, what the plan is, but you said you were gonna give us a smaller version of that, because we didn't need to know the whole plan of the emergency thing, and we've never received that since the approval of that handbook,
The safety plan,
yes.
I'll link it in Friday's report. But it wouldn't actually be a bad idea to see if Wendy would come and do a informational item as well at a board meeting.
But okay, but yeah, that would be a good,
Is there an action item needed for number 4 that I need to add? Or is it, we're just gonna try to be better?
I think just try to be better, like, as long as we're aware and have knowledge of certain things, and it's up to us to.
And I think one action item would be maybe could we do a community, you know, put that someone there to look at least.
Like bringing speakers out to get more engagement,
During
or,
second semester, or,
No, like if we do it like in the evening, have a speaker come and, you know, they could tour the school, that sort of thing. You know, just, you said you had a good turnout when the mayor came or whatever, so, and with the bonds and stuff, we might even get a better turnout, so.
and then have us present there
Yeah.
to help with walking around and stuff,
Yeah,
or greeting.
because most people haven't even stepped a foot inside of our schools that aren't parents, you know, so.
I don't think we necessarily need an action item for that. We can just
Oh, okay.
schedule something. I mean,
Okay.
I'll reach out to Mayor Osborne and see if he's available Tuesday through Friday, the last week of February for that, and then he could come and talk about the importance of public education to the city and the future of the city, and
that
take
growth
people
right there.
on tours of wherever we do it at, that kind of thing.
And where would it be held?
Desert or Torteso.
Because he's the he's the mayor of Buckeye.
Yeah, I know, but if you want Tonopah people to go, they probably won't go to that. And if you had them out here, they probably would get a response, so I don't want to be part of Buckeye at the meeting.
Oh, yeah, thinking that he's trying to
When not-
incorporate.
So you might want to go a step up or do like the school safety stuff.
I mean, Dan, do you think we can don our representatives?
We can ask, 'cause
Yeah, all they
they're,
can say is
yeah.
no.
they're active now with the legislature, so their time might be hard to get them to come, but it'd be a good time that they can talk about what's going on and with all the education bills in the legislature.
So who wants to do the contact?
Well, there's a meeting Thursday. Couple at least will be there Thursday. Dunn does, or Carbone doesn't usually go, and it's rare that Dunn would show up, but.
Okay.
And I'll be at the legislature next week after next.
I'm sorry?
I'll be down there in a couple of weeks.
So what meeting are you talking about?
Precinct committeeman meeting.
Oh, okay. Where's that at?
It's at a high school way up on Saraville Road, Canyon.
I'd ask you, but you're not a Republican.
Canyon View and
I'm independent.
Goodyear.
She can still come, right?
Yeah,
I mean, she can be a guest.
be a guest.
Okay, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And send me the information because I have to post his quorum,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Potentially.
I mean, the three of you will be there.
Are you gonna go?
yeah, I'll get the information.
Yep.
Okay, what's the next number?
5. We're still on 2.
So, and this is about the financial needs, and one of the things is I know that we have to post our budget, right? For the community, to present it to them before we vote on it. And sometimes we present it the same night we vote on. That was my understanding.
No.
No? Okay.
No, it's posted, I think, 10 days in advance.
Okay. So, and it's posted where?
On the website.
Like,
Arizona, Kat posts it somewhere and then she sends me the link to update on our website.
and where do we put it on our website? Is it,
Under budget and finance, budget and.
but that's not easily, I mean, if people were going out looking for it, they'd see that, but if we put it under events like board meeting or whatever,
It's pretty easy to find.
And we go over it every month in the board meeting, all the finances,
Yeah,
if
but
they
I
were
mean,
involved.
I don't think, I don't think everybody, like we said, 100 people maybe get on there. I think we just need to make sure it's very accessible and that people know where to go, because even though we think it's accessible and easy to get to, think about it as a layman that doesn't know anything about our website.
I don't know, I thought my grandparents wouldn't put the app on their phone to know what's going on at the school. Cause I was like, they don't even like to do the Fry's app for the coupons, but my grandma had the app.
2 clicks.
You
Okay.
open the website, you hit business, and then it's finance. And that's,
Yeah, it's
it's 2 clicks. I don't know if we get. I mean, unless we just put a flashy banner on there that says budget here, budget.
When we say business, do we have a drop down that says like financial, I mean, something they know what's under?
So it says departments, and it's business, curriculum, food service, human resources, operations, special education, technology, and transportation. So all they would, like, sorry. You hit doing this sideways, sorry. You hit business, and then it talks about business service has CAT's information, and then here's all your financial reports that are required to be posted.
Could we put financial underneath that list? And I know you've got it there, but could we put financial under that list instead?
I mean, I can put financial in parentheses next to business services, but ultimately we did it by department.
Okay. I guess if you look at business, that doesn't all, I mean, for some people that wouldn't mean, it might mean business, but it might not mean financial, because I think a financial is a separate.
But even once they get to the financials, it's not very unfinancial, still
Right,
finance
right.
literate. Or even if you understand finances, it's still,
Yeah.
How do other districts around us share that
Yeah, it's
information
okay.
with their stakeholders? Like, how, you've already looked into that?
It's the same.
It's the same.
And sometimes I would say harder to find than ours. I mean, ours is pretty easy. I've not looked at every single, but just in my experience, some are, I don't think there's one that I've found that's easier to find than ours. I've certainly found others that are harder to find.
So do we, or can we, I don't know, can we do that? Like, I know we posted 10 days, but like the board meeting before, so that there's like a board meeting that kind of presents what we're looking at, and then we vote on it the next board meeting? Or is the timeline not able to do that?
I know what you're saying. I would, it's possible, but I want to give myself some wiggle room in case, because we're especially like in adoption of the beginning of the year budget, we're trying to wait to the last possible minute so we can get as much info, because remember, we're guessing as to what we're going to have. So that kind of that makes our guess less informed. It's possible, but I don't want to handcuff ourselves as well by doing that, because that limits the amount of time we have to get things prepared.
What if we have a special board meeting just to present the financial to the public, to present the budget? I know we're doing it on the website, but if we do it in the board meeting, it's probably just a little less confusing. Well, maybe not, but I don't know. I just like the idea of them, that we're providing it to them in another format, that they have the opportunity to listen. Not all people are visual, so I don't know. I just like the idea of being able to present
All
it.
of our meetings are now on the YouTube channel, so anyone that wants to go back and watch a past one has the ability to do that now as well, and then they can listen to that.
But when we like after we post it 10 days, don't we vote on it the next board meeting?
It's presented at the next, we have what's called a public hearing, which is required.
Right.
So that's technically before the board meeting.
Right.
And we have the presentation of, I mean, think back last month with the board revision. I mean, I think we were, an hour and a half
Right.
presenting the budget.
And
So I
then
mean,
we vote on it that
yeah,
way?
so I mean, that happens already.
Except we're not giving the community an opportunity.
but the annual one, we propose it in June, and then we vote on it in July.
Yeah.
So it is out there for a month.
Okay.
And if you want
So we
to,
post it, but do we,
well, I
in
mean,
our board meeting?
yeah, we approve the proposed budget.
Well, I know, but we do that the night that we present the budget in our meeting. I mean, I know it's online, but I like the idea of including it in a prior board meeting so that it gives the
That's
opportunity.
what he's saying, the
Yeah,
annual is that.
we do it that
It's
way.
presented and it's not voted on until the next.
Okay, okay, yeah. Bear with me, I'm new.
No, it's, yeah, that's the,
Okay, and that's the one I would, yeah.
the revision is unique. You don't necessarily do that a month in advance. You do that when you have to. And you typically, it's December and May. But the annual budget, there's a presentation and then.
And then the following, okay, cool.
I was just thinking maybe Jeff Gadd was good about taking a budget and making it readable to the general public, but I hate to ask Ms. King to do that. I was wondering, SBO might help us on that. Okay. Anything else on financials? Okay, 6, contact with the superintendent. 7, board members professionally and appropriately communicate with each other.
Okay, this isn't good, so we really need to talk about this one, I think. If someone feels that there's not professional communications.
I don't know, I feel like I can, we can agree to disagree and move on and be professional and have a difference of opinion, so.
Well, I think what I wrote down is, I think we're professional, we're appropriately communicating, but I think we still need to do that, but we're still having board members who do not contribute during the board meeting. So I think we're on the path to get there, but I think we still have board members that don't contribute during the board meeting. And I think you do a good job of saying, is there anybody else? Maybe if we said, Bernadette, do you have anything? Star, do you have anything? And maybe pointedly ask and see if they might be more apt to contribute if we do that. I don't know. Normally, you don't have to do that, but, you know, if we're trying to
I
get,
feel like I'm calling them out for not having an opinion. It's like,
well, you're just asking if they have something to add. I mean, I don't know. Just a thought.
I would take that as an advisement, but I don't think I will be president.
Okay.
If I'm president again, I'll try to do that more. Okay.
Well, before we leave that, are there board members that aren't communicating during board meetings that want to speak up and say why? Is there a reason behind the quote silence?
I don't know. I'm certainly not silent. But and I'm not gonna pull any names of who I think's not contributing. I just think it's a comment in general.
I feel like especially on things that like I'm passionate about and stuff, or like things that I feel need to be discussed, that I'm able to, I ask or I speak up, so. And then other times, sometimes like she might say something and there's nothing for me to add to what you've already said. So I feel like sometimes I don't need to reiterate what was already said.
I also think there's communication with the district office behind the scenes. So therefore, the day of the board meeting, there might not be as many comments. Because any questions or clarifications someone needed, they've already received.
Right.
Yeah, number 6, and he always has
Right.
extra days available to ask those questions and kind of have, if you disagree or whatever, like have it out with him and see if you could come to.
Does it sound like we strap on the gloves?
One of the things I worry about a little bit, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but when we do that, I mean, a lot of things it's okay, but we have to be about transparency too. We don't want to do that when we need to be transparent with the public and let them know what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't think we do that all the time, but I think we need to be aware of that.
Yeah, I
Can't
think,
think of a situation, but if I ask the superintendent about something, then sometimes I'll say, I'm gonna ask it in the meeting too, because I figure, I had a question, he had a good answer, but if I ask it in a public meeting, then it goes out to you all too.
Yeah.
And to the public.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I mean, even for the rest of us, if we ask a question or whatever of Dr. Winters, and, I mean, if it's a no big deal or whatever, but again, if it's, like you said, something you think that would be good for the public to know, then we need to have that transparency and and ask that question again in the meeting, or, talk about it or whatever. So
Well, and I
it's
think-
just something for all of us.
And I think too now, all eyes on us on the cameras and stuff as well. If we are asking those questions or whatever, that the information does need to be shared, because it looks like we're just sitting there and we're not even questioning or doing anything. We're just saying, I, and they think that you haven't asked.
Non-functioning board.
Well, yeah, well, and that you're not really involved in asking
Yeah.
questions, but we already have the answers, but they don't know that we had asked that question.
Not everything.
That's what I was gonna say, but I don't think everything required.
I know what's going through his mind.
Thank you for saying that out loud.
Okay. I'm lost. Behavior.
One,
Okay. Board clearly establishes its position on controversial matters pertaining to the district, thereby enabling the superintendent to properly carry out the wishes of the board. Okay. Disregards personalities.
Well, was there a discussion on that first one, that somebody felt that the board wasn't clearly establishing a position on controversial matters?
Well, it wasn't a comment, or I don't see it.
that was probably me.
No?
What did I put at the end?
I could have, I remember when after I'd done it, I thought,
Maybe it's back here.
we always can need improvement. I'm never silent, I don't want to be
I know.
best on our laurels, we can always improve, and so
It's-
I probably put more needs
Page 12 of
improvements than
15.
superior or
The
satisfactory.
comments to those,
We can always improve.
What are you looking at?
I think. Comments,
Seven, comments, yeah.
back there on 12 of 15. I don't know, that's where the next comment section is.
I'm sorry, where are you at? The end of this section?
There you go, it doesn't have
It says 12 of 15 in the corner.
So does this mean that we don't have policies in place or board agenda items in place or something?
At the
So
board
the-
meeting, I remember someone saying, well, what's considered controversial?
That was my question.
At the board meeting, that was what was talked about with this topic, was what is considered controversial, because that word means different things to different people.
Right, right.
And I think when you explained like on different things, like what it meant, because I think the last time we did the scored these, we had not understood what it was asking completely. And I think with that little document you wrote up about some of the questions we had last time, that helped this time with scoring, so that,
So should we change the evaluation then to another word,
Yeah, I don't-
or reword the whole thing?
I'll do away with controversial matters pertaining to the district.
yeah, I think just get away, the board clearly establishes position on matters pertaining to the district, therefore, just take out controversial.
And I think that's a two-way street between myself and the board is, hey guys, this is something that's coming up that
Right.
could potentially cause some issue, and then vice versa. You guys, because sometimes what I think is gonna cause an issue may be different than what you think and vice versa. So I think it's just a matter of us having open dialogue about.
Do you want me to remove that word for next year?
I don't think there just needs to be a consensus of the board to, this is a procedure, I believe, or is it even?
The
In the
governing board
policies.
evaluation has to be done. This is copy and pasted into the Google form from ASBA. But I think we can use whatever evaluation tool we want. We
Yeah.
can,
But it's not in the policy manual.
Correct.
no.
Because it says BAA-E.
It's a regulation.
It's an exhibit,
Exhibit.
which will be transitioning to form, which is a better phrase. So regulations or forms we can change without having to go for approval.
So if we have a consensus of the board, then that word can be taken out. And it's-
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
I agree.
We're not voting, we're just agreeing. Okay. So 2, personalities, 3. Good. 4. We play well with others. I mean, surprisingly, is I've heard of board members that have problems with staff members, and it's like, that's not your job to get in a fight with a staff member or into controversy.
Well, there definitely is some of that in other districts, for sure.
And if you got a problem, talk to the superintendent.
Yeah, it's your problem.
Yeah, that's why he's paid the big bucks and we're,
Not paid at all. Number 7, I know I was one of them, I don't know who the other one was, but it's hard to get acquainted with personnel of the district. I mean, Alicia's here, so, I mean, we get to know her, you know, what she does or whatever. I don't know how you fix that except for, like, we have our breakfast at the beginning of the year, so that's one thing we can do. When we go to the schools to, like for events like choir or I don't know, whatever they do, awards, I mean, that's an opportunity. I mean, we're not talking about being best friends or whatever, we're just talking about, you know, recognizing, giving their name, you know, how's everything going, you know, that sort of thing. I mean, that's what I think anyway, I don't know what you guys think.
I think that was some of the things that we had mentioned, like about maybe being allowed to go on campus at different times, like doing lunch or like at lunch or recess or something like that to kind of.
So I know in the past, I'm just gonna speak from other district, is that as long as we coordinated with the principal and told them that we'd like to come out, then it was okay, and we didn't necessarily have to go through the superintendent all the time.
And that's all I ask that you do.
Okay, yeah.
And they're gonna make a phone call or text me that, hey, so-and-so's coming. That's, I mean,
Right, yeah,
that's all I would ask.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, since we don't know our staff or don't have personal friendships with the district. No, but I do have friends with a few. The board makes an effort to keep informed about instructional program and school conditions by providing periodic reports as deemed necessary and by periodic visitation to the schools. I don't know. Anyone discussion?
The school conditions, I believe, work orders, like at one meeting, we went over work orders and open and closed, and I know there was a huge backlog, but that was being worked on, but we've never been updated since then. But I don't think that I answered needs
Do you see that?
improvement, but I don't.
Does Ms. King see that, you think? A report on work orders?
Are we able to be updated on that? Because I know that was something that was a work in progress and was a huge problem in the past, but supposedly we were making a huge.
Yeah, there's 2 types of work orders we have. We have IT work orders, and then we have maintenance work orders.
Oh, IT, okay. I heard IC, sorry. I'm getting hearing aids this afternoon.
So I know that we've had presentations like beyond textbooks, but I think it would be good to have an occasional presentation, and it wouldn't have to be very long, about maybe a curriculum program. For example.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because I don't know that we have programs the way you're defining a program.
Well, curriculum. So for example, maybe someone comes in and says, here's the highlighted content of American history that's taught in the high school. And it wouldn't have to be 5 or 10 minutes to hit some highlights that we see, well, they talk about the Revolution and Civil War and Pearl Harbor and whatever.
Or the reading and phonics program at one
Yeah.
as well, and Tartessa and stuff. I
Yeah.
know that there's some curriculum or some programs that they've been trained on.
Yeah, what is reading and phonics, and how is it taught?
So one of them would be, I know that we're supposed to develop something for teaching the World Trade Center, because I saw that out there, that we're supposed to do something. So that would be another item, once you guys figure out what you're doing. I don't know if you're doing it already or not.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it puts the board closer to the classroom. So I'm not suggesting that an hour presentation is made or something like that. It's just a chance to see what's taught and maybe some questions and answers.
Maybe some new ways that teachers are inciting students, like getting them involved, examples of what they're doing in the classroom. I always like to see that, what are we doing to engage kids and get them going? And I know some teachers are better than others, but that would be kind of cool to see.
One would be, don't we have life skills in high school? I get people question that we don't have FHA anymore, and I try to say, well, but we have life skills.
Life skills is a,
Yeah, that's not comparable. Life skills is for
special education.
special
Yeah.
education.
Oh, we don't have one that
No.
teaches
Like,
how
and
to,
things like that.
teaches you how to boil eggs?
No.
Nothing? Nothing?
The culinary and stuff like that.
Balancing checkbooks?
No.
No, which is something we should have. Well, not balancing checkbooks, but how to manage your money.
Like financial class.
Well, FBLA had that business marketing, but it's not, we don't have that this year.
Because Dave Ramsey has that course too. It's
That's
a-
one of the things I've always heard is that our kids don't know how to manage their money, and we don't teach any of those financial things.
That's sad. I used to say, if someone leaves high school and can't balance their checkbook, we failed, but I don't know if that's a true statement anymore.
A lot of people don't
Almost
take
don't have
checks anymore.
checkbooks
Yeah.
anymore, yeah, especially young people.
You at the sale.
You just gotta manage your credit
Credit
account.
card debt.
Yeah.
Just tap it. And scan those QRs.
Yeah, it's not magic if there's no money in there.
There's a TV show, I can't remember what TV show, but there's a scene where the dad's talking to his adult son, and he's like, who's paying for this? He goes, I don't know, it's a write-off. Well, who pays for it? It's a write-off. And he's like, what? He's talking about like business, it's a write-off, so he just thinks it doesn't, because it gets to write it off, he really has to pay for it, it just cracks me up. It's a write-off.
No, I actually interviewed with a guy that said that the government sent him to this conference, this business conference. What he meant was it was a tax, it was deductible, but he didn't pay taxes on it, but it's still like that, like a write-off, but it's not 100% write-off, not a tax credit.
Yeah.
It's a deduction.
Yeah, you should see those people too when they do their taxes and like, what do you mean? I don't get all of that back. Why do I owe? Like, hello, they start yelling at you. I had my cousin, I did her taxes. She's like, why do I owe $13? Started yelling at me. How come I don't have enough deductions? Talk to your payroll department.
It's not your fault.
I did your taxes for free. Be quiet.
So Dr. Winters, this item of evaluation has instructional program. Should the word program not be used? It should be something else.
Would it be classroom?
I think in that sense, it's okay, because it's talking about instruction in general. Where I think it comes to confusion is with, say, because most people, when they hear program, they think of what's your textbook adoption kind of a thing. That tends to be the way the mind goes. But in this case, it's talking about just like how we're giving instructions. I think it's okay there. If it said informed about programs, then I think it would be a concern for me, because it would mean something else in what we do, but I think it's okay that way.
So what does the phonics come under?
Phonics is reading instruction.
Yeah, phonics is reading instruction. That's not an instruction program? Or what do you call that then?
I wouldn't call it a program, I would just say it's reading instruction.
Reading instruction?
It's like
Now, if you-
supplemental tools to help them teach.
Now, if you use,
Yes, it's a program.
like our teachers use something called UFly, but there's a ton of different other phonics programs out there. So that would be a popular one in the Valley is Spalding, or there's all these different phonics programs that ours is free, it's a free one, but there are ones you purchase as well.
Well, I mean, the ones that you send, because I know that you send teachers to train for UFly. I know that was something brought up when each school presented their
Yeah.
plans. And they kind of said, oh, this is what we use or whatever. But it would be nice to see what that's about. Or I've seen something like Kagan. Is that what it is? Kagan, one that Mr. Bourne's gonna go to. Just like things that the tools that you're bringing back to help them. Like, it would be nice to know what those tools are and what, and how it looks in the classroom.
Are you writing all this down?
So maybe when the agenda is light, like tomorrow's,
Yeah, I think it's a good
you
idea.
could drop an item in, yeah. Not saying to add it tomorrow, but when we have a light agenda,
But not just like I mean, for me, I'm not talking about like, oh, we bought a supplemental workbook and we're gonna use that.
Yeah.
Just the programs that they kind of train on and you're bringing it back and implementing it, and all the schools are, the elementaries and stuff.
The board maintains policies necessary to enable education staff to develop education program requiring to meet the needs of students.
That was me just because I don't know all the policies yet,
Okay.
which we're going through.
And they're changing.
Yes, yeah.
You know the first 3 chapters by tomorrow.
I know the first 3 chapters by heart.
Accountability of expenditure funds. Exhibit professionalism by demonstrating behavior such as adhering to laws and district policies and meeting preparation and interaction, attire and promptness. Bernadette still with us? Okay. Okay, no, I expected to see your pretty picture in the corner, sorry. Board members are.
I'm sorry, go back to, so our previous discussion, did it cover this needs improvement? This expands it to other things, the meeting preparation, and all.
The only thing I would add is I really need to know when you guys are gonna be places outside of the school for quorum. That would be my only, I don't fill out the survey, but I know that there was a time where Dr. Winters wrote me and he was, is it too late to post a quorum? We've got 3 board members here, and I was like, I mean, I can put it out there, but technically the answer to that is yes.
Well, that was the Terravellis thing,
Yeah.
and then the Thanksgiving thing, we volunteered, and Dan attended, but it was, I mean, I
I
always
think we had that one.
Yeah.
think of it.
So just, even if you think, hey, this might happen, it would probably be better just to communicate it with Dr. Winters or I, so that we
Yeah.
can make sure we're.
No, I think it's good, a good practice to post, but I don't think we could ever be challenged. I mean, could we? I mean.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
If the wrong person saw
Yep.
all of you there,
yep.
and then they couldn't track back that it was.
Yeah, okay.
There are people out there in organizations whose sole purpose is to try to catch governing boards violating open meeting law.
Well, I
So
think
if
we
I
made a point at that time not to be together. We mingled, moved around.
So if we know like each month, like, okay, we have all of these events, and I'm attending these and just shoot you an email with all of them, just in case?
Just
And
in
then
case.
everyone just do that? Okay. With their personal,
What I've seen is after the meeting, we need to be careful that you don't get more than,
They're in a little group.
I mean, you can't help it if you're all at the grocery store at the same time, but if you're at an event, it's a little,
no, even at the grocery store, I mean, if me and Star are there and Amy comes by, she goes, hey, and keep on going, don't stop and say, what are you guys talking about?
that would be my only addition.
Yeah, okay.
okay.
That's confidential form.
So whoever identified needs improvement, is there something here that
I
we
think
need to discuss?
the notes for those need improvements are right here on page 12 or 15.
And it was me.
Okay, well, on that too.
I will. So my thought here, and I'm kind of old-fashioned, and I'm not going to call out any names either, but if you want to be taken as a professional, you need to dress like a professional, and we need to be prompt to our meetings. And I know circumstances sometimes keep, there's an accident on the highway or whatever, but try to be as prompt as we can be.
Well, if that would be, to me, all of you, sometimes you have to take a 2x4, a 2x2 doesn't work, so if you think I can improve on something, let me know.
So that was just my thoughts there.
And attire wise, because I know we don't have to dress in suit and tie and dresses and dress clothes all the time. I know like a polo or a nice dress shirt, but you could wear jeans. Are you saying
Wear jeans?
you can?
Well, see, I'm old-fashioned. I just believe that, like even our teachers that wear jeans and stuff, I think if you want to be taken as a professional, you have to look like a professional. Like I don't even like the way our teachers dress most of the time. Because if a parent comes in and they see them in a t-shirt and jeans, they're not taking them as credible or professional. And that's just my thought. I mean, nobody has to think like I do, but that's the reason one of the reasons, yeah.
It's not right, but it's true. People judge you by your dress sometimes. Board members are actively engaged, participate, and contribute during meetings.
I think we covered that already.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
you've mentioned that. Board members participate in professional development and training.
And the reason I put that is because I was thinking about the class Dr. Winters I went to that was talking about school finance. That was really, really a good all-day class. And I don't know what other stuff. I mean, I think we're pretty good about attending any professional development, but boy, it would have been, and maybe it wasn't fair to put it down there, but it would have been nice to have more board. It was really good for me because, I don't have the knowledge you guys have, but
Are you signed up for that one? It's a webinar. It's an hour a week, I think. Okay.
yep.
Yeah, I didn't
It
sign up
just
for
came
that
out.
yet.
Yeah, I know, I saw it.
Okay, so you'll have to let me know.
Yeah.
It's $200 a person.
Yeah, I know, that's what I looked at and thought, well, are we gonna do
That's why I
that?
didn't say anything. I was like, well, she'll let us know if we're supposed to or
I
able to.
emailed him this morning. So, I haven't gotten to you guys yet.
If we're able to, I would like to
Yeah.
attend the school finance.
Do we have a budget for the school board? Should we have a budget?
This comes out of M&O.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mr. Rovetto pays for a lot of his own.
Oh, don't get me to that.
whether it's a quote-unquote school board budget, it's all gonna be M&O.
Okay.
One thing I'm working on is endowing the Saddle Mountain Education Foundation. And I think that's an area that I've talked about with the person with the grant writer that's working on that for us is,
They used to pay for a
Yeah.
lot of your guys' training, but they
Yeah.
don't have
so we're working on getting that endowed with a significant amount of, and one of the areas we're targeting is board member training and travel and things of that nature.
They wouldn't pay for travel, they would only pay for the training.
See, I'm trying to get the whole thing.
Well, prior to, they wouldn't
Yeah.
pay for travel, they wouldn't.
We have a grant writer we're working with to try to target different grants to endow the foundation. But until then,
Right.
it's all M&O.
So what is the endowment foundation? Is that a 501c3 that's
Yes.
been established?
Yes.
That's the one you have, Paul?
Yes.
Oh, so the
Catamount
grant would go
Education
to,
Foundation, yeah.
the grant would go to
Right.
that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So question then, if we wanted to attend a professional development or whatever, do you have to prove it?
I think the way our policy reads, technically, the board has to approve it, but we never have. I mean, and it kind of, the way I read the existing policy is that it's encouraged that if we send you, then you come back and report.
Right, right.
I think the new policy may require approval.
I don't know. It's not in,
I just have a funding code from Kat. She said, put board training under this code, and I said, okay. So I put in the requisition, and then it gets approved through business office, and then I register you guys, so.
I'm looking
I
right
have
now.
never sent anything for the board training to the board for approval.
Yeah, I don't
Since
think,
I started, I have not done that.
I mean, I never thought about it. I want
Even
to,
overnight stays.
I want to go to the National School Board Association in Honolulu this year.
I would actually really like to go to NASPRA in Washington.
The what?
To NASPRA.
Oh,
I would-
well, you can go and write it off.
yeah. No, I went to the National School Board, but I paid myself.
Yeah.
I've always paid. My point is, I want to be the best board member I can, and so I figure I'm doing it for me, to make me a better person.
I'm still going through policy, if you just bear with me a second.
And I figure I don't want to take Crayolas out of the classroom. It's fine, it's whatever the new one is, and when we get to that, is it in the first, I haven't finished the first 3 chapters, have you? It's not in there, or?
I believe it is in there.
Okay.
And for approval, I think the old one, we were supposed to identify what training we were doing annually.
That's what I'm right there right now.
Okay, I read
Existing.
all those chapters.
That's existing or the new?
I'm at the existing one right now. Funds will be budgeted when funds are limited. Right now, the board would designate which members would go. I think the yearly is tough because we don't know like what's like this one that came, like the one you said you emailed me about this morning, that
The finance one isn't in.
it's new, so I think that's a tough thing to do.
Is that the old one?
I'm looking at the old one right now.
Okay.
It's the one it's
I mean,
easier for me to
almost
get to.
setting a budget might be more feasible. The board will spend up to this, and then you guys
Like
decide.
5,000 or,
And then you decide who goes to which ones, and there can be okay, now you're down to this amount, instead of sending everybody to everything. But reporting back is not the same as
Yeah.
absorbing that information.
Well, that's the reason I wondered if we had a budget or not.
But what impression do you have when you're not sending everybody to everything? And it says, well, we're restricting the training of the board members.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
And I think we've done it pretty much on a volunteer basis, and sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it just,
Yeah,
So a budget limit might not be very good.
good idea.
yeah, I would say we're doing more now than ever since I've been on the board. I mean, early on, we had a lot of working people. When I first got on the board, most of them were working. And that's part of it is just, I don't know how you have time, working people, how they,
and it's tough when like, hey, Bolt's training's on February 4th, and just so happened my schedule allowed for me to attend, but a lot of times this happens to me all the time. I got one today from ASA for February on
They don't give you a lot of notice.
Yeah, it's like a 3-week notice. Like, my schedule's planned in March of the following previous school year. Like, you gotta get me a year in advance if I'm gonna be available, so that's always tough.
So it sounds like we'll have a good discussion on the new policy.
Yeah, I think so.
on Board training.
And one I mentioned with Ms. Marcette last week is also to be careful of putting stuff in policy that unintentionally you may end up violating just because of circumstance. So I think broader the better, because if you get real detailed, like if you say, you will set a budget every year for this, or you, whatever, it really detailed, so we can have a procedure that talks about how we do it, but putting it into a real specific policy really locks us in, and because of whatever extenuating circumstance we have, we may not be able to follow policy and so be careful about locking ourselves in that way.
Well, this would be tomorrow, but something to think about is, I think policy is, this is the way we want to do it. If something comes up and we get ourselves in a corner,
Right.
that we can admit that we're violating our policy, but, say, we understand, this is the way we normally want to do it, but because of this situation, we're going to violate our own policy. It should be rare, but I don't think it should be unheard of. I don't think you should paint yourself in the corner where you can't take action that everyone agrees we should be doing. It's just like, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Think about it for tomorrow.
So I would say the board has that luxury. We as employees do not have that luxury. We have to.
No, but even with you, is I think if you get painted in a corner, I expect you to make the best decision and tell us, this is why I did this. I violated our procedure because the school was on fire.
Procedure is one thing,
A policy.
but policy is
Okay.
Yeah,
kind of our legal requirement, so I would
Okay.
really think long and hard about before I violate it.
Isn't there, no, forget it, I'm thinking something else. Gosh, don't get old. I'm lost.
You're on 15.
Page
15.
11, number 15.
Okay. The board members participate in development of district goals and support their implementation.
But we just went over all the comments for 15, 16, and 17.
And I think we just had
good.
participation in setting new goals for the district, and
All right. The board strives to provide resources to ensure district facilities are adequately and equitable for all students.
So to follow up what Amy said, Dr. Winters, is there like a record keeping for backlog work orders?
yeah, we have a work order system. So it's a report you can run, and it'll show you like how many days the average work order takes to get filled. That's, I think, a report we shared previously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it divides it by like facilities too.
And
like
IT
which
and-
schools.
Yeah.
Do we rank those?
What do you mean by ranking
I
them?
mean, rank them as far as,
Priorities.
yeah, instead of just first come,
Yes.
first served.
Maintenance, an AC in the summertime.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Priority
Yeah.
Right.
over
The ACs, plumbing issues, there are stop, drop, and this has to be taken care of. I've been saying this for 4 years now, and we've gotten better, but there still needs to be improvement, is a lot of times there's a perception that, oh, something's not getting done, but that's just because whoever's taking care of it has not communicated that it's getting done. A lot of times if I need to get a new lock for a door, we've ordered the part, it's sitting on a boat in Long Beach, and it's not getting out. Like, those are real situations, so we gotta do a better job of following up people that saying, hey, your lock's on the way, it's supposed to be here Tuesday, but they didn't get fixed immediately because we don't have all these parts just kind of sitting around in a warehouse somewhere. So a lot of it is communication, following back up with somebody. But to what you're saying is AC, plumbing, immediate issues you can see and feel. But that being said, if my light bulb goes out, it's an emergency to me.
Right,
So everybody, I need you to stop, drop, and come and fix my light bulb. So everybody's, whatever somebody's, it's their own emergency, and that's a real thing out there.
So do we rank, like, I mean, when we look at our schools, like, this one needs a roof in so many years, this one needs a new heating system. I mean, do we kind of, a timeline for those things? Do we have one?
Yeah, there's a preventative maintenance schedule and a capital program we follow.
Have we seen that?
The capital plan was approved a meeting or two ago.
Okay.
You're showing your background. We don't care about heating. AC is the important.
And what I think what's interesting about number 16 is so much of the resources are incumbent upon what the state gives us.
Right.
I mean, as we know, there was just a lawsuit that the education community won for this very issue. Like our roofing projects at the two schools, they've been approved, but I was at a meeting on Thursday where the head of the school facility, it was Wednesday, the school facilities division spoke, and they had, for this year, they have $19 million left. And there's a backlog of $700 million of school repair projects in our state before we even get into next year's allocation. So we're in that backlog. The state has now prioritized that. So Mickey Roof, you'd think would be
Right.
higher on the list, but we can only do, we do the best we can with what we have. But it's so much incumbent upon what we receive or don't receive from the state.
Okay, 17, in order to support positive legislation for education, board members engage in political processes involving interacting with elected officials. Evaluate as a board member.
Well, I know I have to,
Okay.
I mean, we get updates all the time, but I need to be actively engaged with my legislators and that sort of thing. I know the mayor, but, you know, I need to be advocating. And I guess ASBA, is that what it is here? Is talking about a day where we advocate, where we're, so that's kind of nice, yeah.
And we got a new Jimmy,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his last name.
Yeah, I saw him at the same meeting last week.
That's not right. Okay, yeah, I talked to him too.
There's also a process that you can go in to the legislator website and actually make comments on bills.
Okay.
Are you signed up for
You just
that?
got to sign up for
I
it.
gotta sign up for that.
It's called Request to Speak.
Okay.
Usually I have someone down at the legislature that will do it for us. But it requires, you have to give me some information that I give to her. So if you're comfortable with that, I can facilitate that.
Do we have to renew that every year?
I'm sorry, Paul?
Once you're in, you don't have to renew, right?
A long time ago, you had to renew every year, but once you're in now, you're in.
Okay, that's what I thought. No, I was just thinking, I don't need to renew this year.
It's called Request to Speak. It's a misnomer. You really don't get and go and speak to them. You can testify. But and then what I've learned is they really pay attention to that. Like if they get 100 people and 98 people say, no, I don't want this, they take those things seriously.
I've been in committee meetings where they actually read those off, where they're. Okay, comments?
I'm just gonna say it. With the absence of board members attending board meetings, it negatively affects the efficiency of the board. So, and I know there's circumstances, but I would like to put something in the policy that says, we can't remove you from the board or anything, but maybe you just have a discussion with the board president that you will meet 25% or 75% of the school board meetings within the year or 2 years. Because just like the other day when we had a split vote and we had to bring it back, we did, but I think it impacts the effectiveness of the board.
Noted. Okay, so to the priorities. Any comment that you'd like to discuss?
Let's see, I'm looking for mine, there's an item, there's a policy that exists right now of using basically a committee, in the past I think we've called it a growth committee, to look at things and come back and recommend to the board bond issues and things. And I'm looking for it, I think I put in there the policy number. But anyway, I don't think this last bond will use that process, and I would encourage us to use that, and it'll help get some grassroots support and get feedback from community and different members in doing any type of future building or bond issues.
Yeah, and it started out with basically asking the schools basically for their wish list, you know, and then it went to the committee and they kind of whittled it down. I know one of the wish lists has always been lights for the baseball field, but I don't know if that would ever be something that I could see if we had lights, whether we could have community baseball in the summer, you know, in the evenings, or even in the spring, but I don't know.
And we can't, and we
It's good
can't
because
have,
if you get a group of people from the community on it, then they're advocates for you too.
I just keep buying lottery tickets, hoping I'm gonna win.
well, and a board member can be part of that committee.
Yes.
Right. One,
Okay, yeah, I just want to clarify.
and then you need to make sure that they're only as an observer, a community member, not as a representing the board.
Participant, yeah.
Well, we have election next on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's January, so we have plenty of time to start. We can have that discussion next, and then we'll start doing now.
Well, are we done with evaluations?
Well, the listed priority, 4 challenges the board faces.
Okay.
I'm not sure that we're all aligned with the same priorities. So if these are our priorities, what are we going to do about them?
I don't know what the last one, I understand connecting with the community support, but what's other potential board members? I don't know whose that is, but.
I don't know, that's not mine, but I would think they're talking about maybe people who are gonna run to be on the governing board, or who they're networking with out in the community to run. Mine was the second one,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just need to know what that means.
But I know in order to, I mean, our finances and retaining teachers and all of that would be tied to bond and override passage, because without that, I mean, we're gonna have trouble retaining really good teachers and having a good cash flow. So, I think those would all go into that one, so I think those are aligned.
Say that again?
For finances and hiring, well, just like looking,
Right.
academic improvement, hiring, well, retaining teachers with degrees, so seasoned teachers with degreed teachers, I would say. That would all go into the third comment where it says bond and override passage and academic improvement. It all ties into those key subjects.
And so I see the first comment there, the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 are all completely tied together, and then not as directly, but also the funding, you gotta have the appropriate funding to be able to make those things happen too. They're very interconnected.
And those are mine.
And
Those
the-
4 are mine.
Yeah, mine was the second one, the community engagement, involvement, finances, growth, class sizes, but all of that, obviously, we need money, schools,
Yeah.
and being able to retain highly qualified
I didn't read
teachers.
that question right, so therefore I didn't answer it right.
So community shows up 3 times, and improving test scores, academic improvement, that's 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm seeing any other overlap. So I think we talked a lot about community.
Yeah. Test scores. I know we're working on it, but man, every time I look at those, I just want to throw up. I mean, it is what it is, I know, and I know we're working on it, but I was going to share something. They were, is it Meta or something like that, where they can go out and find out information about different schools? And I mean, our reviews are not good.
But student success also starts at home. Like, I think, like, for my son, also, like, we sit there and, make sure he does his work and whatever, and that he's fed, has good sleep and rest, and that we're involved in meeting the teachers, going to the schools, and whatever activities or programs he's part of, like, our family's involved and engaged. And I think in order for some of the students who are not being successful, it starts at home as well. Like, yeah, we can put so much on the teacher in the district, but you also need the home engaged and involved for their academic success, and we don't have that. That's the missing link, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion as a parent, because that's what even the teachers say, like, you're here, but your son's successful. We have the parents coming, but their kids are A students. We're not really wanting to see you. We want to see those other children's parents and families, but there's no open dialogue there.
Well, it was about Tonopah High School, and it was like, it says, reports of bullying, grades, I forget, it was just, there was nothing positive. And, I mean, we've got positive things, I don't know how we get it into those sites where people go to find out about our schools.
I've, over the years as a principal, I've called, I can give you examples. The first school I took over, after a couple of years, it was a much different place, and so I can't remember what the organization was called. Said, hey, can you is there, these things are from 4 or 6 years ago, can you take this off? No. And so that's why it's incumbent upon us to combat that with sharing all the positives.
Is it charter schools that put that out there? I don't know, I'm just saying.
But I mean, I think that's not atypical and I think a lot of people that go onto those sites are the ones who've had a negative experience for one reason or another. And not to say that we're perfect or any school is perfect, there's always room for improvement. But I think a lot of what gets out there is just not accurate. And that's why it's incumbent upon us to share all the great, wonderful things that are going on. And that being said, there's still obviously room for great improvement.
But these aren't personal Facebook type things, these are things that people are advised to go to find out more information about our schools. Yeah.
So as a as a board, what can we do to improve test scores? Is there something in a budget that we can fund, offer more tutoring, some summer program, or maybe we do something like host a National Honor Society dinner, make a presentation on how important it is?
Do we have summer school? I don't think I.
Yeah, we do, varying levels.
For credit recovery, failing,
So what we've typically had is credit recovery, just general summer school at the middle school. We have a move on in reading summer school for those kids that were going to be retained for their third grade reading score. We have extended ESY, extended school year for special education. We typically have an EL summer school. This year with M&O budget, some of those things will probably go away, but it'll be largely grant-funded things.
and that's the thing, I mean, we want more tutors, how are we gonna pay for them? I think one of the things.
Well, if that's what we want, then when we go through the budget, then we need to sacrifice other things in order to put money into things that will improve test scores.
And what's going to improve test scores is the quality of teaching, and then the quality of teacher that we have. I'll explain, but there's a saying that we have in education that says, let me give some context first. So when we talk about instruction, we have tier 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 is the instruction you give to the whole class. Tier 2 is instruction that, like, okay, these 10 kids didn't get it, I'm gonna intervene with those 10. Tier 3 is like special ed, really small group of kids. And you can't tier 2 and tier 3 your way out of a tier 1 problem. Like, if 80% of your kids need remediation, you don't have a tutoring problem, you have a teaching problem, the tier 1 teaching problem. That's really where the rubber's gonna meet the road, and that we're diligently working to improve, and that's where the quality of the teacher and the quality of the teaching they're providing comes into play. And that is the most impactful thing. So, I mean, it's incentives to retain and attract qualified, good quality teachers is where is gonna get our bang for the buck.
My math teacher from high school, she's teaching at another school, and she said that they brought in teachers who obviously don't have degrees, but they've trained them and whatever, but they had 79% fail rate for like algebra 2 and geometry and stuff like that. And she said, and that's embarrassing. Like, yeah, I had like 12% with all of my classes, but 79, 80, that's not the students, that's the teacher.
So that kind of goes back to one, and so then, should we, in the budget, raise the salary of teachers to attract higher quality teachers as we go through the budget process, and all eliminate other things so we can put money into teacher salary?
But then if you have a teacher that doesn't have a degree, they're emergency certified, whatever, I think that's the word we're using. And somebody applies that season, knows their stuff, would you replace that teacher? Because if you had somebody that was
It
a higher quality
depends.
teacher.
Because there are some folks that don't have the paperwork that are actually really good in the classroom. So it's not a one-for-one, it's the ones that are struggling that we would want to take a look at. And we have, in the last 3+ years, teacher salary has gone up $12,000. With our current financial state, it's going to be really hard to.
What if we did a signing bonus? I mean, I don't know, I'm
So,
just thinking
well, we'd still
outside the
What is
have
the
to look
signing
at line
bonus?
items and
Oh,
eliminate
yeah.
things that are not important. in
And
order
doesn't
to have-
everybody get that?
Yeah.
At 4,000, isn't it? 2,000, something like that?
That's part of 301.
You're thinking of the attendant, the retention stipend.
Right, yeah. Yeah, everyone returning, yeah.
Well, not everyone, teachers.
Yeah.
Certified teachers.
And so we have put a lot into it, and hopefully we'll be able to continue. And that's, when we talk about the election, I think some of the scenarios we need to start talking about is, we can get to that in a second. It'll dovetail.
I think we're done with this, so.
Are you done with this?
Yes.
I need to be losing Kat a
Okay.
heads up, but I need to tell Kat.
Okay.
Let me get a donut.
Quick question though, and I know a lot of times our hands are tied because we don't have anybody
take a
else. But is
5-minute
that
break.
keeping us from eliminating, teachers or staff that are just not doing what we want them to do? I mean, you know, we
So
talked.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I know we have a tough time, you know, keeping teachers and stuff, so we have a lot of teachers, not a lot, but we have some teachers that, whether they're got a four-year degree or whatever, that just aren't cutting the mustard. And so, and I know that we give them additional, you know, you try to give them additional training, whatever, but we're trying to have teachers, be accountable and, due diligence and, teaching with fidelity on what we're trying to do. If we don't have that, are we able to get rid of that teacher? Are we in a place where we can't?
No, we do that.
Okay,
I'm sorry, if we don't have what, are we not able to get rid of them?
I'm sorry, what?
What was the question? If we don't have, you're saying if we have a lot of those non-certified teachers, but you're saying if we don't have that, are we not have what?
If we have, whether it's a teacher or non-certified teacher, if they're not, doing the things we want, like the adaptability, the fidelity with the teaching, you know, all those type of things, I just wanted to know, are we able, because a lot of times when anybody replace them, but are we able to, like, free up their job choices?
Yes,
Okay,
and we do that.
okay,
I think we have, I think it's more improvement plans this year than we've had previously, off the top of my head.
Yes, not many.
And, you know, that's not typically gonna happen in November or December.
Right.
It's gonna happen at the end of the year
right,
for the following year to try to get somebody new, but, there's nothing keeping us from doing that.
okay. And that was my question, just, are we,
Well, there's nothing keeping us, like, are we legally able to not offer them? Of course,
Yeah.
but I would say the teaching, the quality of the teaching staff that we currently have in Saddle Mountain is nowhere near 5 years ago.
okay,
It's not even, in fact, the reason, I was just thinking about this the other day, because I was looking through my staff list at the time that we got A+, which was in 2018. And at that time, I looked at my staff, and hands down, that's why I was not worried about any judge going in any classroom. You can go in any classroom you want, you ask any teacher questions. I was 100% confident. Were they all the best teachers I've ever seen? No, but they were better than mediocre to exemplary, every single one of them, hands down. And there was not one non-certified teacher. We don't have a school that has all certified teachers. We have many, many non-certified at every site. And so I'm sorry to jump into this, but I just wanted to make it clear, like, yes, we could open those positions, but we would not have teachers to fill them.
right.
And that's the,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking. I mean, you know, our hands are kind of tied.
yeah. But we do it, but not,
We try the improvement plan first, yeah.
Well, I was just asking because you have that teacher in that classroom, but say somebody comes in and that position's not listed, obviously, because there's somebody in it, but they don't have a degree, but that person does, would you still allow them to apply and?
And yes, actually, we're supposed to have all
They
the
are posted.
information, so we've kept like a general posting. So it's, I think it says just like K-5 teachers and for all of our special ed, like, so they are posted because of that reason, because we don't have somebody certified in there. But it doesn't say specifically like 5th grade teacher at Tartessa, it'll just say
K-5 teachers, so that if somebody was to apply, then yes, we would always keep that in mind.
Because obviously they would feel uncomfortable and like that their job was at risk, but
Yes.
like threatened or whatever. Okay.
I need to make a quick phone call.
I would agree with that, because so there are a handful of non-certified staff that are pretty tremendous without having a degree. Yes, so I told her 5 minutes the certification, depending on the specs, depending on how they interview, like, they may not be a better candidate on paper.
Yeah.
The certification, yes, but
I know in private school they say that too, like some people have a calling for it and
Absolutely.
they don't need the degree. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Everything's cost.
That was interesting, I put in for a long-term sub for a resource teacher over at McBain, something like that. And they interviewed me.
John McCain,
Yeah, and they interviewed me.
well, I'm not surprised.
Huh? Yeah, so they said they had 4 people interested. They did select me, but they said, the one thing is I don't have a certain sped. And I'm thinking, how do you get a certain sped if you're a substitute? You know what I mean? You'd have
It
to
would
be.
have to be a retired teacher. or
Right,
something
right,
like that.
right, yeah,
Or somebody who's just.
yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, that special education is.
Yeah, yeah, which is,
Scary.
yeah, it is.
As a parent with a special needs kid, I could tell you that's why my daughter's not here.
Yeah.
But that's my personal, obviously, right? But I feel that way too. Like, it's something that you need to be trained in. And so, like, I have ABA, like right now, while I'm here, I had OT that had to go to my house. So I have all the therapies, and people in and out of my house. And that's very unique because every child's different. So you have to be able to understand that and their needs.
Well, I guess I have a lot of experience with SPED, just like with all my teaching, I do a lot in SPED. And I know there's some things I see in some of our schools and I'm just like, the expectations are low.
But it's that specialty or that area, there's a high burnout too. There's a lot of turnover and stuff. Like, I'm fortunate enough, like, with my therapies, I've always had the same people since grade 3. We've had to switch some companies, but we kept the people. And that's helped in her progress too, because when we would, like, have a change or whatever, it would upset her and it would throw her off in her progress, so.
That's my opinion of why we have so many non-certified things, yes, is an extremely challenging self-contained classrooms to start.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're in many of them. You know, the resource, that's pretty standard
Yeah.
across districts and everything, but
There's just as many calories in
not
half
all
of one.
districts have. And we just. It's my second breakfast though, I had a
They
bagel.
get more and more, I know the numbers are increasing dramatically.
This is round 2, I had a bagel. Mathematically, I don't think you're correct. I'll take it.
Yeah, that was TA's donut box. They didn't have a donut box, so I had to use those containers.
Did you bring some in?
Just donuts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw the email.
Dorothy about the other stuff. I wanted to go to Einstein Bagels, but my son, he wouldn't get up early, so I could drop him off and he could catch the bus at my grandma's. He was like, my alarm clock hasn't went off yet, so I'm not getting up or whatever. And to my other two, and my daughter's like, he said his timer hasn't went off yet, so he's not getting up.
Well, it worked out because she did bring donuts.
And she brought bagels, yeah.
That's perfect.
But they have like where you could do like the big box of the bagels and coffee. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean.
So what are we paying our subs now?
It's 165 per day.
That's high for most districts, yeah.
I really like subbing.
I do like Grace.
I really know this.
It's very flexible. You can choose what you work every day. It's expensive. It's very
I realized kindergarten wasn't for me.
Same.
Kindergarten.
I remember going into Liz's office and being like, I'll sub for you every day, can you give someone else kindergarten?
I don't know, I coached, and then I would help with preschool, and then I did 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I would sub at Grace sometimes, and then finally I was like, this is not my calling.
Yeah, it's definitely not perfect, that's for sure.
Yeah, you have to put it with the tattle telling every 5
Yes.
minutes.
We need to tell a lot to the kindergarten.
I love
You
kindergarten.
might need a couple extra minutes.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Yeah. I would think so, but okay, I'll shoot that over to you and then,
And they definitely don't like it if you don't do it the way that our teacher did it. I subbed in a kindergarten class once, and the girl goes, you have white hair. I said, yeah. Then she goes, you're really old. I'm like, yeah.
Children tell it how it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I told my daughter, because we put our dog down when he was 16, a boxer, and she wanted to know why, like, he had to go to heaven. And I said, well, he was just old and tired. So we went to my friend's retirement party, and one of her mom was right there, and she's like, are you old? And the lady goes, yes, I'm old. And she starts laughing. She goes, well, are you going to heaven? And she goes, I hope not anytime soon. And then she's like, Amy, this is your kid or whatever. And I was like, oh, sorry. She doesn't understand. She thinks if you're old, you have to go to heaven. But then she kept asking my grandma too if she was dying.
One day.
You know, I thought we were gonna do like 8 to 10, and I have an appointment at 11, doctor's appointment. So I'm gonna have to go.
That's why I just rescheduled.
I can't reschedule. This is my follow-up with my cardiologist. And they're not easy to get in and see, so.
Have you talked to Dr. Winters about the reconfiguration?
Yeah. Sounds good to me. I mean, what other choice do we have? I'm not supposed to have choices, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a choice, right?
He thought I was gonna be upset. And I said, that sounds like the best plan I've heard yet. That sounds like you put a lot of thought into it. I mean, that's what you have to do when you don't have money.
I can participate by phone,
I can add you to the link.
okay? Until I get to my appointment. My husband's gonna be in the car, but this is public anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being live.
Oh.
It's just paused at the moment.
You still not driving?
Can't drive. I was at Bunko and had 6 seizures. They called the fire department.
Jeez.
It was so, it wasn't funny, but half the time I don't even know what's going on, but they said at one point I set up, I heard they had another call, and I said, oh, I'm fine, just go to the other call. And they're like, we're not going anywhere.
Did you just start having those?
So, but one thing my husband and I figured out is I always have them on Fridays. Good thing our board meetings are Wednesday.
What's that? What's the
And,
diplomas?
but I started taking that Manjaro, and way down the
What's
list
that?
it says it can cause
The 3
seizures.
diplomas, what are
So I'm
those?
gonna put taking it
On the
for
wall
a month
behind
and see
you.
what happens, so, 'cause I
My
never
high
went back.
school, my bachelor's, and my master's.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
I just sent
I got mine.
Yeah, and I see my, too. See my capture up there too.
Yeah, that's neat.
Did you send me the link?
I did.
Okay,
Yeah, it'll come through your email.
okay. All right. I'll be talking to y'all on the phone.
It says Bernadette study session, but just join it.
Okay, okay. All right.
It's just me.
Now Star has a doctor's appointment at 11, so she's gonna join too.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, I have another doctor's appointment. Thank you, Alice.
I don't know, but I think at the high school, though, there's been so many
For
new,
you,
oh,
yeah, you have to talk, his is on. Oh, okay.
All right, well,
there's so many new
We'll see you,
programs
sir.
and stuff that
Did
they.
you have a good Christmas and New Year's, Bernadette?
Yeah, we kept it quiet.
You kept it quiet?
Yeah, because we're a whole family here anyway, so, you know, it's my sister-in-law up in Biscuit, but that's it.
I thought you had some family still in California, no?
Oh, yeah, California, but we didn't,
Yeah.
Mikey's too lazy to drive out there. And I'm like, what do you mean too lazy? You're not driving, you're just laying down. He thinks it's too long. I'm like, oh my gosh, I do all the driving, and he still doesn't want to do it.
Is Mikey in town?
Yeah, he stayed home, but he's going to 8, so like today he has class at 9 o'clock until, I think, 2 p.m., so he's at ASUS.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Love it. That's so great. I have not run into him anywhere, so I was just curious.
Yeah, he kind of misses the campus. I think he's like that. You know, he missed that campus atmosphere, because I remember Metro was telling me about it. And I'm like, well, you know, you just gotta move on. You can't hang on to that forever.
Dax is such
You're
a
that
good teammate, because I saw him on Friday at Desert Sunset. Yes,
But Bridget's there.
yes. And he shaved his goatee or whatever he had going on, mustache, whatever that was. He looked like my old student again. It was so great to see him.
Oh.
So, and his brother, Corbin, is a paraprofessional.
Yeah.
And then his wife Lily is a teacher, and so it's just one
Yes.
big happy family.
Oh yeah, I mean, John is doing the same thing. Eve's there. Start bringing the family back in, except for Danny leaving for the military.
Yes,
So,
yeah, it's neat to see our former students. And
well, Mikey did ask about volunteering at the high school, but because he's not 21, he's not allowed to.
that is correct. He can volunteer at the
That's
other
it.
schools, but not the high school until later. We have that.
Yeah, but he wants the high school. So I said, well, you can't, because there's particular teachers that he wants to go help out.
I'm sure. Yes, yes.
I said, just give her to college. You'll be done with college before you know it, and then guess what? Then you can volunteer.
Exactly. Get her done.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We lost one.
Star had to go for a doctor's appointment,
Oh,
but I sent her the link. She should be joining on her phone.
okay.
Okay. Moving on. Election.
I hope that was already.
Sure. I'm making a mess over here.
It was good. We went into a cabin like the day after Christmas for a week. It was nice. And then on Christmas Eve, we had like 50 people at my grandma's. She does that, and then like everyone who has kids, Mrs. Claus or Santa comes, and then they all get a present, and that's the one they get the okay for Christmas Eve. So that's it was like our 31st year we've been doing it. So, but my grandma's sister used to be Mrs. Claus. It was their thing, but she passed, so her daughter does it.
So, good. It saw the family through the week, you know. Yours?
Lovely.
Are you ready to be live? I just need to let you know.
Quiet.
Sports after, actually, high school has tournaments. Skylar's had a soccer tournament every year.
Joel, Dr. Winter said we're ready.
So it was restful, like, after the night to get out, so that's restful.
We have lots of
I
baseball.
prefer that. I like downtime, but like not too much.
Okay, we're good.
We're back.
At the last board meeting as well, I can't remember who, but someone, I remember you, Mr. Blackson, brought up different election scenarios for November. So I thought it'd be a good time just to start kicking it. And we talked a little bit about it a little bit ago, but we have two issues to consider. One is 10% versus 15% override, and then two would be a bond. I can share my perspective, and then you guys can chime in. As we were just talking about the priorities of the board, one of the big reasons for the 15% is the increase in funding would allow us to, as I mentioned, teacher salary is going up over 12,000, but our classified salaries are still lagging behind, and that would allow us to upgrade and modernize our classified salary schedule, and then also provide increased salary for teachers. I think back to, and Mrs. Amaral, you weren't there, but Mr. Blackson and Ms. De La Cruz were there, so three of the four of you were there. The last interview I had for the job was one question, and the question was, what are three strengths you've identified and what are three challenges? I don't remember the strengths, but the challenges, of course, I remember were classified salary schedule, test score/teacher staffing, and three was time in the calendar. And so the 15% would allow us to really help tackle all three of those. We could modernize the classified salary schedule. My idea was, and I brought this to the Superintendent's Advisory Council, was to add 1 day a month for teachers, roughly like, let's say, the last Monday of every month, something like that, where it's professional development, teacher planning time, teacher collaboration time, and that would be a $2,400 raise for every certified staff member. And it would allow us to give us time to do some of those things that we don't have time. Pretty much everyone I talk to, we need time for collaboration, we need time for this, and we do, but we also need a structure to provide that. So, that being said, 15% override has failed twice. I would much rather have an override than no override. So really, I guess the question is, we've got to decide in the next 4 or 5 months is to continue to ask for the 15 or just keep it at the 10, and does that have a better chance of passing than a 15? A 10% we could truly say is no increase in taxes. It's what's in place now. We're at the 15%, it's roughly $1.22 a month increase, so we can't say it's no, even though it's a minimal amount, it technically is a tax increase. So I think that's the first thing the board needs to tackle is what we want to do there. So that's my perspective and background, and certainly discuss it.
Well, Dr. Winters, could you tell us where we're at now? Because the current override starts to decrease and eventually go away.
Can you mute her, or she needs to mute?
There she goes. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So,
Then if she wants to talk.
Ms. Morissette, if you want to talk, you're going to need to raise your hand because there was too much noise in the background. So Alicia muted you, but if you need to say something, you use the raise your hand feature on the Google Meet. Yeah.
Is it now? No.
Try it now. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Is that-
Can we
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's better.
Okay. I'm muted until I have something to say.
Okay, sounds good.
so we finish this school year and there's no impact? to
This
the
school year,
10%.
correct. Next school year, yeah. So with the override, it's not all at once, it's not thankfully, $2.4 million at once. It is, so it's $800,000 for next year, an additional $800,000 the following year if the override doesn't pass, and then an additional $800,000 would get us to the 2.4 million over 3 years if we don't have an override pass in the meantime. So for next year, we're eliminating $800,000 from the budget.
And have you worked through that yet, or?
Yeah, that's the next, we can kind of dovetail those two together, I think, with the, as I've mentioned, and Ms. Samuel, I don't know if I thought we had a conversation about it when I was at ASBA, but I don't remember if we did or not, about idea for next year on possibly reconfiguring the schools to help us save money.
Oh, no. I heard about it from the
okay.
survey email or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But
And I have the results of that survey as well. With the plan we've worked out, we would save between $1,020,000 to $1,080,000, and the variance is depending on the average on the salary of the teacher. There's a little bit of variance in there. So the plan we have in place for next year would save a little over $1 million, which gets us above the 800,000, and gets us closer to the 1.6 million for the following year.
So the decrease in the override election, we described what would be impacted. So what you've done in the budget is consistent with what we said, what the consequences would be?
100%. And what for next year, what we managed to do is tackle it through cost savings through class size and reduction of electives. And then by reconfiguring, we save a few, just it works out that we save a few positions. And then we don't have a way to know this for a fact yet, but with Teravalis adding kids, we suspect there'll be an increase in transportation cost, but by localizing with the reconfiguration, I don't think we're gonna save money, but the increased cost was gonna be greatly reduced by the reconfiguration.
And when do you forecast the all-day kindergarten will go away?
Right now, the forecast would be, if without an override, full-day kindergarten would be year 2. That's the plan.
That'd be the 27-28 school year.
Correct.
with the houses filling up in Teravalis, like the more people that move in, we get that money into our budget, those houses?
No, the kids will bring us more funding.
So, okay, not the community itself,
Mm-hmm.
just the students.
Transportation isn't current year funding. Ms. King?
Transportation is currently current year, capital is not. Capital is prior year.
No, I'm saying, used to we did route miles from last year. That said our transportation.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, the route miles go into it, but it's, but they determine it based on, yes, route mileage, but then also the, current year students using it. It's very convoluted, but it's
Okay.
current.
So if we start hauling a lot of kids from Teravalis, we'll get a little bit more for transportation for current year
In theory.
in May.
Yes, yeah, it's right around $2 for every route that is over a mile.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
not per student. It's quite the fun, I can go print it out. It's
Okay.
a
No,
funky
okay.
little,
But there is a little bit of fix for all of a sudden we have more transportation. We'll get a little bit this year.
yes.
Okay.
And when is the next opportunity for election? May?
November.
Oh, we have to wait till November?
I guess, was it,
There's one in May.
August.
there's one in May,
We needed to get our paperwork in.
yeah.
I don't remember if it was last month or now.
I think that we got the email last week, so I think we have a little bit of time, but
And is August available?
I have not, all I know is May and November right now. I have not heard of an August one.
And I think August is only primary, isn't it?
No, it can be other things.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Because,
one of the things was the turnout last year. I mean, that really shocked me, that even though it was an all-mail-in ballot, we had very few people returning the ballots. You know, I was surprised at that.
They all thought that they could go to this church over there. Even
Yeah, we
people-
had 2,000 ballots returned. The PAC thought we needed 3,000 to have a favorable outcome, what was interesting, on election night, it was a 60-40 difference, and over the week, we gained about 400 more ballots got turned in, or counted, and it went down to is that 55-45?
Oh.
But, I think we need, the more people that vote, the better our chances are.
And that's, for some reason, people vote, the people that bring in their ballots on election day vote in favor versus the people that send them in early.
I have a question, it's a very stupid question, but I just thought of it. When I've driven through Tortessa, people don't have enough buses sometimes, so I can't put that out to post box. Is there like a drop box or anything?
Yes, the cluster boxes.
Yeah, there's an outgoing mail slot.
Okay. Because
That's what
I'm
mine
trying to just figure out I mean, I get the ballot, obviously I don't live in this district, but I get my ballot, and I put my mailbox from, actually for elections usually I drop off, but you can just put it in out, like what, I'm trying to figure out
You
what.
put it in the envelope, you put it in outgoing.
Correct, I don't understand, because yes, when we were doing the phone banks for the last couple weeks prior, I mean, and talking to staff, like you were talking about, people waiting until the last minute. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, and usually the church is open for voting, and then people could drop off those ballots. That's what they've done. So they probably didn't even read or think. They're just like, oh, I can go there. And then it was like, oh, you have to go to Arlington. And I was like, well, I'm not driving that far. I'm not doing that. And so I think that lost votes. And then I know that I did get a couple phone calls about, oh, hey, where do I go vote online? My daughter brought me this flyer, and it said, she said, I can just go on the school site. It's an election. You can't do that. So then I was like, they're like, well, where do we go? And I said, you have to go to Arlington if you want to vote. And they're like, well, can I go right now? No, the polls closed at 7. You missed your opportunity. It was 7:12. So, I mean, just right there shows that some people need a little extra steps written down.
So will
And I don't-
these upcoming elections, will they be mail-in also?
No,
No,
because it's a general
the governor, there'll be the governor.
election. Yeah.
I think if we had the church open, that you would get.
And so I don't know if that's a plus, that, they're gonna vote for, we have a senator, but anyway, legislature, governor, they think, oh, I need to vote, oh, yeah, I'll vote yes for the bond. And just the fact that we had such low turnout.
And if we had a May or August election, the override still wouldn't hit until the following year. So in terms of practicality, get the money, that doesn't make a difference. I don't know if you're thinking of that or if you're thinking of voter turnout. But in terms of when the money actually is, so next year is already, no matter if we had an election tomorrow, it still wouldn't impact us.
so November would have a bigger turnout
Yes,
than the
Oh,
others, and that's what we need.
yes.
Hopefully more positive.
And I did send out a survey to the staff. Sent out a link, the email kind of detailed our thought process. And I checked this morning, I had 154 people respond. There was one question, so I gave them a bunch of information, and I asked, how does this impact your decision to come back to the district next year? And the choices were, no, it doesn't change it. It increases the likelihood I come back, or it decreases the likelihood. 54% said no change. 35% said it increases their chances of coming back, and 12% said it will decrease their chances. So,
That's minimal.
yeah, 89% of the people were either no change or increase, which is, I think, pretty, and I've had, not a lot, but a handful of people reach out to me with positivity and stop me in the hallways and things. So I haven't gotten any negative responses, which typically I would, so, I think it's been generally met with positive. I've had one ongoing conversation with a parent that's been pretty positive. I would this week like to, honestly, how our conversation goes today, send something out to the families that say, as a result of the failed override election and bond election, this is what we're looking at for next year. And also we're working, Ms. King and I are working on the plan, like, okay, here's what's gonna happen the following year, and here's what's gonna happen in year 3. So we have a definitive, here's the cuts for year 1, here's the changes for year 2, and if in next year, the following, so the 27-28 school year, we go to half-day kindergarten, that puts our reduction at 1.4 million. So we have to come up with another $200,000 of reduction to get to the 1.6. So that puts us pretty close to, we almost have the 2-year plan complete. It's the year 3 plan where things get really, really hairy. The hope is that we have enough enrollment from Terra Vallis that would offset it, but we have no way of knowing what that's gonna turn into. And when I say class size increase for this year, we're not talking going from like 26 to 42. We're like talking like going from 26 to 28. We're not talking a huge increase in class size yet. So really for year 1, we were trying to minimize the impact on kids and staff. Year 2, there's not a whole lot we can do. There's gonna start really being some impact. So with a 10% versus a 15%, 10% keeps things the way they are, reinstates what we've lost. 15% allows us to move forward and do some other things. I, for one, am not a big fan of status quo. I like to continue to move forward, but I would much rather have an override than no override at all. So that's really, I think, the question we have to wrestle with over the next few months.
I think with the reconfiguration and people seeing the changes that are being made, and that's already a big change, and, you know, less things being offered, then they're gonna see, okay, this is what an override is gonna do if we don't get it, because right now there hasn't been an effect to anything.
Yeah.
And so I think that will open their eyes, kind of.
And some of the questions I've gotten, well, if you do this, is there less incentive for people to vote? Yes, and then there very well could be. However, the communications be very clear that this is a Band-Aid. We have overcrowdedness at Ruth Fisher and Winners Well. This plan fixes that, but it takes all the overcrowdedness and moves it to moves it to Desert Sunset. So this plan we're enacting for next year, depending on how fast Terra Vallis grows, it could be a 1 or 2 year Band-Aid, and then we're back here going, okay, what's the plan for this year? And we're moving stuff around again. And so we're just gonna have to wait and see how things go.
There's no bus barn in Tartesso either, so you'll still have, like you said, the same fuel cost, but would it be less buses going?
Less buses, but I've had multiple conversations with city officials and just different groups about how we can store buses on that side of town. So my thought would be, okay, driver goes into Tartesso and Terra Vallis, let's say it parks their bus behind a locked gate at Desert Sunset, let's say, does all the runs for the week, then on Friday night parks the bus at Desert Sunset, does all the runs for a second week, and then Friday night has to come back up here to get fuel, and then I don't know how quickly we're gonna burn through fuel if we're just running back and forth between that little small area. So we're gonna have to have like a quasi bus parking location over there to help cost, and then work out a schedule where they still come up here to refuel.
So my question is, since if it would use less buses over there and maybe open more for out here, would we be able to be on the same schedule, like start and end times?
So right now, and this is actually, I haven't posted it, but the ALT agenda for the Art Administrative Leadership Team agenda for tomorrow is to kind of get everyone in the room and go, what are all the questions like that? But I've met with relevant departments, and what Diane and I think is, we keep the middle schools 8 to 4, so that would be Tartesso and Ruth Fisher. Desert Sunset and Winters Well would stay 7 to 3, and the same at the high school. I don't know that we'll be using less buses, we would just be using the same amount of buses differently.
Oh, okay. I just thought I'd ask.
For now, the same amount of buses. As Teravalis grows, we will need more buses, and without the bond to buy buses, we have capital, where we can maybe buy a bus or 2 every year, but with the bond, we could buy a fleet that we need, but for right now, we're gonna, there is the potential to get to a point to where we don't have enough.
That can't carry me.
Oh, sorry. So, and then doing that, where you do, the middle school and elementary there, and elementary, middle school here, would, because I know we're full out here currently, how full would that put us at capacity, like, for those buildings?
Yeah, Winters Well and Ruth Fisher alleviates quite a bit, which was the plan with the new construction. And so right now, Ruth Fisher and Winters Well, we got classes on the stage, we got partition, that kind of thing. That'll go away. So you'll have plenty of space, but over time, the elementary is gonna fill up again.
Well, I mean, to show them why we need, the bond and the
Yeah.
override, or the bond for the buildings, like why we would need that, because if you could show that, that's kind of gonna fill it.
Yeah, and I've got all the numbers. So we're taking out over credit problem and putting it Desert Sunset. We'll max out Desert Sunset next year. Yeah. Ms. Marcette, do you have a comment?
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. So, I want to make sure I have this straight. Tartesso is going to be first, Desert, and the
We're losing you, Ms. Marcette, but I think I know what you're asking. Under this plan, Desert Sunset would be a K-4 school, and Tartesso would be a 5-8 school.
Okay, great, thank you.
And same Winters Well would be K-4, and Ruth Fisher would be 5-8. So it's moving 5th grade up. And I know, just personally, one of the things I've wanted to not do every year, but I've also recognized that this is a possibility, is every year we're doing this just to accommodate if we don't have a bond in upcoming construction. But if we have to, that's what we're gonna have to do. Because I could see a scenario where we have to move a 4th grade, or every year, and then it gets to the point where we're just completely full, there's not much else we can do, but while we have some leeway, we can do that. I don't wanna do that, I don't wanna cut anything, but if we have to do that to quote-unquote survive, that's what we're gonna have to do until we get something passed.
So then, probably year 3, the only thing would be to increase class sizes more, to 30 or something.
Yes.
Do we have variances on any kids, like from other districts?
We do, it's not real high, I have to pull the number, but we're not talking hundreds and hundreds of kids.
Commissioners, I don't know if this is a question more for ALT or if it's for, just let me know. So with the proposal going back to full day kindergarten, I know we had kind of already discussed with administrative leadership team, or principals at least, that we're going to suggest half day to save cost and to just kind of make an impact with voters, that was going to be something that we need to change for next year. In the meeting tomorrow, will there be any discussion with administrators about other ways? My concern, there's 2 concerns that I have, and I'm sure that there's many others I'm not thinking about right now, but one concern is the reconfiguration. So the school safety grant, we apply for a 3-year grant cycle. We're just finishing our second 3-year cycle, so ends this year. So I have to apply February 1st for the next 3-year cycle. February 1st, we will not have board approval, we will not have anything approved, even if we know we're gonna go with this reconfiguration. So, I have a conference coming up 2 days before that I'm planning on asking that
Yeah.
question, because I don't know if I'm gonna have to, I'm assuming I'm gonna have to apply with the current configuration, and I don't know if they're gonna make me reapply or what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But they made it very clear, we are not gonna get an answer to whether we are awarded that grant, which provides a counselor at every school and school resource officers. We do not find that out until June or July. So if we say, okay, we're doing full day K, which we have to decide obviously before before the February board meeting, and then we find out June or July, we do not get that grant, we do not have money in maintenance and operations to cover 5 counselors. The grant pays fully for those counselors and for the school resource officers. So I would be extremely concerned about school safety, and then also with our title budgets, we don't know, that's kind of still up there, we don't know what funding we're getting there, and I know that we have plans to cover instructional coaches and things like that. So there's just so much uncertainty, I just don't know if that should be a conversation with administrators, should we have a safety net just in case those things happen, and or other cost saving measures before we decide this is what we're doing. And if this is more ALT, let me know,
Well, I think Patty and Kat and I have figured out the grant funding part of it
For 1 year.
for 1 year.
For counselors?
No, for coaches and, as far as the safety grant goes,
I have the meeting on still if needed, but let me unmute. Can you hear us, Bernadette?
there we go. I think Ms. Marcette,
Seth left.
Dropped
then you
off.
left, but now you're back.
okay.
You figured out instructional coaches, you said,
Yeah.
for 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, I think our staffing meetings will have those kind of, I don't know if they'll necessarily be an ALT, but in our staffing, so we can get excess savings, we can use it. But I think it's gonna be a risk. But what we ultimately decided was, if we do half-day kindergarten next year, we're gonna exacerbate the funding issue, because we're gonna have families who can go to another neighboring school district and get full-day kindergarten for free, and they're not gonna have their kindergartner in that school and leave their 4th grader here. They're gonna take all the siblings. And so not only are we gonna cut $800,000 from the override, we're gonna lose all this other enrollment, and we're gonna lose even more funding. And that's even more devastating. So that's the thought process behind that. The following school year, there's no choice, so we have to do it. But for 1 year, we can save it, and hope, of course, that the override passes, and it's a moot point. But
And have you talked about an option for parents that want full day to pay for?
Bless you. So I have a meeting with the kindergarten team leaders, I think next week, to kind of, we've come up, I don't know, we've thrown 7 or 8 different ideas against the wall. None of them are great, none of them are horrible, so I'm gonna get their input on what their ideas on and dealing with that. So now we have a year buffer to kind of come up with the procedure for that. Bless you. And getting their input on that, I think helps us, so we have more time on the run up to that. But if we do have to go to half-day kindergarten next year, the following year, we would definitely look at all those different options to decide what we're gonna do.
We've probably had full day kindergarten for 40 years, a long time.
Yeah, I know, I found the original, like, I think it was like in the 90s override to pay for full day. Miss Walker was like, yeah, I remember when we didn't have it, then we got it, and so we've had an override since then, and this is the first time it's gone. I just think that if we just take it away immediately, we're gonna have a bigger problem on our hands, because we're gonna lose not only the kindergartners, we're gonna lose all their siblings as well, and that would be devastating. So a lot of people are like, well, you need to take it away to make people vote, but we're kind of cutting off our nose to spite our face if we do that.
Yeah, that could be huge.
It's definitely what's best for kids.
Yeah.
Sounds like we need a funding source for the counselors and
Yeah.
SRO.
I
How many
bet.
SROs do we have?
I think the SROs, the counselors to me are the
The
bigger.
counselors are for sure, 100% needed. I don't know how I would have run a school without a counselor, to be quite honest with you. And we only had part-time counselors for a couple of years. We're still understaffed. You know, the research shows you're supposed to have one counselor per every 250 kids, so we're still way under that. Yeah, we could do without the SSOs. They're helpful. You know, they're rotating, and we don't even have somebody every day, but they are helpful. My plan was to apply for SSOs at all sites at this point, just to see if we get them. But yes, the counselors, it would be devastating. I am hopeful because we've been awarded the grant for the last 2 cycles, but you just never know.
And Superintendent Horn's priority is school resource officers, despite I don't know about all, but probably 98% of us in the education community saying counselors are a lot more important to our daily operations in the school and a lot more effective in the schools than a resource officer. So we're kind of fighting that as well. But we'll see how it goes. So that's a lot of things about no decision today, but those are just things to think about when it comes to 10 versus 15%. You know, it's losing it all together versus keeping what we have versus keeping what we have plus being able to do more.
But do you think even if you picked 10, that they still wouldn't vote that down? Because
I
they just
just
see
don't know.
override, you know, like override no, override. I don't think they look at the percentage.
I don't know.
It's, you guys don't manage your money, you don't need to override. That's what I've heard. That was my consensus. Like, they don't read it. It's just, you need to learn to do math and manage your money. That's what I've read. So,
Yeah, we do math all the time. My one thought has been, well, if you have a 10%, then the campaign is it's not a new tax, it's what we have. Now, if you didn't have it, you would save $46 a year. If we have the 15, it goes up to $61 a year. So it's.
Well, but actually, the tax notices will come out before election day, so.
mm-hmm.
And I think too, if there's any other tax involved, it somehow gets lumped into ours. Or if, like, you know, my escrow account was too low because my homeowner's insurance went up, right? So it's a tax, right? And so everyone kind of looks at it all that
The
way.
county assessor sent out the tax bills like right before the override and
Yeah.
bond election, and it showed like for the fire department, like 11 point whatever percent. So everything that was out for the election, it all showed an increase on our tax bill by like 14%, 11, whatever, and they're like, well, they already got an increase. So that also did not help the case.
Any other ride specific things?
No, it's just damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't go back on, but
I think as Mr. Blackson mentioned, we've, essentially have 10 months for to do an election in November. We can get a committee together. We asked for $150 million. That was no. We had varying levels of money depending on what it costs to build a school. So we'd run through that with the committee and kind of get a recommendation. Ballpark, if our big priorities are basically 2 new schools, it's about 90 million. It's under 100, but it's still high. Actually, I think we could do it for 80, and then I tacked on 10 for buses and things like that, school safety upgrades, but, I'd say 80 to 90 to build 2 new schools. And then there's the option of a $50 million bond, and then 2 years later, a 40, like, you could do it every couple of years, but boy, there's gonna be a lot of voter fatigue and,
Yeah. Well, I was just surprised how many people thought that we shouldn't be spending any money on Carabellas, that Howard Hughes should be building schools, so it's like.
I mean, philosophically, I agree with that, like,
Yeah,
but that's not how it works, unfortunately, that's not how it works.
you know, when these people moved out to Tonopah, you know, their new house, they didn't donate, you know, $5,000 to the new school fund.
Right,
You know, they just expected to have good schools.
without understanding the mechanism for how they get constructed in Arizona. And it's really an Arizona problem.
I mean, I agree with Amy. I don't know if it really matters if they see, if we're gonna go for it, I would say go big or go home. Because I don't think that it's gonna make a huge difference. If we could say, okay, your taxes will not increase at all, but you already said we can't say that. So I think if they see an increase, it's gonna have to be an increase period, so I would rather, I don't know. My gut is telling me that it's
That's me
10%,
personally.
15% really isn't gonna make a huge,
That's override though, we're talking how many millions of dollars we ask for in the bond.
right.
I do have a question though. I know we still are buying land and one of our priorities was a lobby, but because of the situation that we're in, that money for the lobby, say if we didn't do that, we have with the roofs and all these other carpet and things like that, couldn't we use that for that then?
We could, but it's so, like, you couldn't do a roof for that amount of money. You could do some carpeting, but you couldn't do
I
it.
mean, because if we go and put that building out there during these times,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's gonna be a huge red flag for the community. So I would say that we would need to use that money for.
Yeah, it'll be
something.
perception, because that, even though that money was approved 6-7 years ago, and that's what it's there for, but, the perception of that, yeah,
And make sure no piles of rocks are in the parking lot
guess, I
during the
don't-
voting time either, because they said that too. If we have money for rocks, then we don't need money.
It's just, I'm just gonna,
Because it has nothing to do with the classroom. So,
I mean, rock's like $23 a ton. I mean, it's not the most expensive thing in the world.
but like you said, perception, right? So if we go out there and do a lobby, they see that and they're like, well, they have money.
Right,
Can afford to do something that's unnecessary.
yeah. We have time, so we don't have to come to any kind of consensus. I'll start a committee sooner rather than later, well before the big end of the school year, that's for sure.
So are you talking about another bond for buildings in November?
Well, that's a question too, is do we have a greater chance of passing something if we just do one or the other?
Right.
And and this is me, priority, the override's the priority. Because we technically have some space, some wiggle room for a couple of years. The issue there is you want to have the bond in place because it's going to take 2 or 3 years to build a school. So if we kick that can down the road, it's going to just exacerbate our crowd issue.
Override failed
But-
on its own the year before.
Right, and we can't, that's impacting day-to-day operation. That's, as I told you, well, the override hurts us today, the bond hurts us in a year or two when they're overcrowding, so that's a consideration as well. In a perfect world, we need both, they go hand in hand, but, you're right, it was by itself, it didn't
It was by
matter,
itself last time.
yeah.
Well, that could be something to talk around in the committee.
Yeah.
You know, ideally we do it in November, but it makes sense to move it out.
And the bond, we wanted the three, like, maybe just what we really, like, I
And
think what
that's,
we really
yeah.
need.
you could go two instead of three, plus some, busing, school safety, or not, you could, whatever, I'll take it to a committee and get their input and, see as well.
Because I think the reconfiguration of that might make Tartesso families happy because all of their kids are right there by their house. And then they're more likely to be engaged and involved in the middle school.
And that's another thing, we do think we'll actually, we'll gain kids, like, because we do lose a lot of kids, not a lot, but we lose a good amount of kids from 5th grade to 6th grade because they don't want their kids coming out here for middle school. So if that doesn't happen next year, we gain enrollment that way and gain.
You gain enrollment, but I think you lose voters voting for middle school. Because Tartesso is now going to have a middle school, so you lose the vote to build one.
But
it's temporary.
it's very that's the thing, it's very temporary, because Desert Sunset, we're gonna have these 2 skill buildings, which is gonna be moving kids around, and it's a temporary fix. But what they're gonna see is, oh, now we don't need it, so it's incumbent upon us to show this is gonna work for a year or 2, guys, and then you're gonna be mad that we have 40 kids in the classroom, so we have no space, so which one do you want?
And then the sports are here at Ruth Fisher, are they
Yeah.
able to have those there?
We haven't
That's a question, but that's kind of down the list of things to figure out, but we'd have to figure out, do we do one at each, do we combine them somehow, but yeah.
Well, because eventually, I mean, they're gonna want that, so they're gonna want a middle school that has those facilities.
Yeah, right, because right now we're going to have to probably borrow the city a little bit, because neither one of those has a full, like, there's no baseball or softball kind of a situation, so,
They used the sports park in the past.
yeah.
Or they bus them to Fisher.
Mm-hmm, we jump off.
Then that's increased costs, so we're trying to not increase costs, so that's,
But it does increase cost of transportation, but if you only had one team, then you're not paying for coaches for both either.
yeah, and you're also not traveling 2 teams to games, so it might be a wash, yeah.
Which we have to do that
Yeah.
regardless.
There hasn't been one in the middle school.
Yeah, there will be next year. There will
And
be
making
next-
sure people are collecting fees, and I would really advertise those athletic passes, because, I mean, nobody really buys them. They're not really something that's advertised, but I think there's a lot of like grandparents and stuff that come and they would benefit off of those passes. I think you could sell more passes.
Yeah, no, it definitely needs to be monitored and,
Increased by quite a
increased
bit.
significantly, but also, for example, just got an email, this is through Scottsdale School District, but, they let kids practice for, a couple weeks, whatever, and then it's like, if you do not have
Yeah.
the fee paid, there's a festival that comes up that they have to play in, and then they get selected after that, they can't participate. And there's no ifs, ands.
Yeah.
That is what the process is, so I just think we need to stand firm on a lot of things that we have not done in the past.
It should be as strict as a physical.
Correct.
You don't have your
Yep.
physical attended, you don't play. You don't have your fees paid, you don't play.
It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at.
Can we afford to update the demographics and population report? I've got, between me and Saddle Mountain, there's 4 new houses, and the land is cleared to at least build 4 more. They drilled a well. Yeah, at least in Tonopah, you can drive down
Yeah.
the street, and almost every day you see a new house starting
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah, I have like 6 by me.
I don't know, we can take a look.
Have them call up the permitting, most of them, majority of them have permits.
Yeah, and they should be able to do that as part of the study.
I don't know if there'll be enough homes in Tartessa by November to make that much of an election difference, but there would be probably the following year.
Yeah, Teravalis, you mean?
Bruce Teravalis.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
If we shot for the
Probably
May
like homes
19th,
built,
we would
like,
get people that are,
populated
live
this
here
year,
as opposed to
whereas next year
snowbirds.
that needs would be a lot more.
How many, is it 10?
It's not something any of us want to do this.
No.
I didn't hear your question, I'm sorry.
There's a May 19th election. And I'm on the Maricopa County election site, just looking at what is available in 2026. They've got one on March 10th, March 19th, August 4th is primary, and then November 3rd is general election. And I was just saying, if we tried to shoot for the May 19th, one, we wouldn't be in with everybody else on what I assume is gonna be a pretty nasty election on November 3rd. All the ads going towards it, but we also would miss the snowbirds.
Could you do both? I know there's a lot of
Yes.
money involved in that, but if it May failed, could you then do November again?
Yeah.
Or would you have to apply ahead of time?
Well, I mean, we still have to hit all the same, not the same day, but I mean, like, it's,
The deadline?
there's 30 days out, there's 60 days out, there's 90 days out, there's 120 days out, there's, you know, stand on your head, spin in a corner, and you've got
No, I
a
know
new
that.
date, yeah.
I've heard a lot of talk of people who didn't make it to vote or didn't mail their thing that wish that they had. So
Right.
I think there would be better turnout for those who didn't go for whatever reason.
I mean,
Well,
if we
and-
had a drop off at Desert Sunset, we probably needed to have one here.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think in November, if we, people will see, like, here's what happened as a result of it, where if we did it in May, they're not, it's still gonna be a, hey,
Contracts will have already come out.
yeah.
They will know.
How
I
did
mean, I'm
they,
not trying to be ugly, it's not a discipline, we're not punishing anyone, it's just, this is the choice that was made. So the override is now cut by 1/3 for next year, and then for year 7, it cuts by 2/3. So that's just the way the M and O override's set up.
But with the
There's some-
contracts going out, teachers, if they know that you're going for that override in May, they might sign instead of leaving, because they think that we are not getting more money for them or trying to.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
A demographic, the last demographic that was done report for this district cost a little over $11,000. So you figure 2 to 3% increase each year on cost. So probably be around 15 to 18,000.
I know some baseball players that can raise $10,000 in a month.
so because of the elections in the city of Buckeye, is that why there was a drop-off box? The city did it? Or
The
did anybody
county,
know?
the county,
did
the
it?
county decides.
Yeah, the county decides, and they had one in each jurisdiction. Technically, they don't have to have a drop-off, I don't think.
So we could request one.
I requested, and I was told we'd have one at Desert Sunset. So I asked, can you put one here?
Denied.
Yeah.
I see.
And we've always had the voting at the church, so that doesn't make sense, because that's where you lost votes.
I can request all I want, but they have to grant the request.
I mean, they have their budget too, I mean, that could have been the thing, is have it here instead of Tartet or Desert Sunset. Was it Desert Sunset?
Was that Desert Sunset?
Well, November election, it wouldn't matter, so.
Is May in person, or is May a mail only?
The only information I can get on my phone just says jurisdictional election, May 19th.
Probably mail-in, because typically jurisdictions are mail-in because it's cheaper. I mean, yeah.
I don't know, Ken, why don't you go pull all the information that we have that,
$57,000.
no, all that, we got sent, the county sends us a questionnaire that says all these questions about the election, and we're like, how do we?
Their information.
It's their information, why don't you fill out the, we don't know the answers to these questions. It was hilarious, it was like, what?
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
But we pay for that election. right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we pay any for the one in November?
Yep.
But it's minimal, it's less, right?
Well, so this last election was around 57,000. The one before that was right around in the high 40s, like 48, 47, 48. And it's just the cost of everything's going up. I mean,
Well, no, I thought part of it too was they looked at what it was gonna cost to run the election, and then they divvied it up, so during the general election, part of the state is paying part of that. You know, it's like, there's more people in the group, so our group rate is lower.
I hear what you're saying, I don't know. I can see the bottom line was in the high 40s, and then this last year was around this.
That makes logical sense, but
Yeah, and, well, the state,
Well, if it makes logical sense, and it can't be, I'm
Right,
sorry. There's no logic to this.
so unless someone throws something at me and says, don't do this, before the end of the week, I'm gonna send out a communication to families saying this is what we're thinking for next year. At the February governing board meeting, the board will discuss and potentially vote, because it's a reconfiguration, the board has to vote on it. If you wanna come and speak, that would be the time to do it. And, yeah, go ahead, Ms. Weiss.
What is the proposed configuration then? Desert,
Yeah, Desert, K4,
K4.
Winters Well, K4,
desert, so the 5th grade goes where?
Tartesso.
Okay,
Fifth
so
grade.
Tortesso stays K5.
No, Tartesso would go 5-8. So the real big change here is changing what Tartesso is,
And then Winters Well
K4,
and Ruth Fisher,
5-8.
and the high school is.
Yeah,
9.
the high school won't be affected by it. And that eliminates the overcrowding at Winters Well temporarily, as you mentioned. We have the space here. It fills up Tartesso more by about 200 kids, more than 200, and then it truly just packs Desert Sunset. So,
And there's a shift in special education too, right?
a little bit, but
Not huge.
not huge. Like, for example, the Winters Well preschool is currently housed here at Ruth Fisher because there's no space at Winters Well. We can move that back to Winters Well because we would open up space.
And then don't you have, the PBS at the middle school for all the grades?
Yeah,
We have to keep that there for licensing requirements.
which we just had last week, went very, very well.
It
by the
did.
way.
Oh, okay.
We had a great 100% approval, I guess, from AD. Lovely.
Congrats. That's how, like, I mean,
We save a ton of money because we would have to send those students out and outplace them, and it's astronomically expensive.
Yeah, it's about $120,000 a kid.
It's insane. Transportation alone is just, as we know, it's unbelievable, unbelievable.
is that like Desert Choice and all those other
Desert
schools?
Choice, ACES, Excel, Sierra Schools, the most
That's
recent
crazy.
where we have to.
Okay, but yeah, you could tell you guys put a lot of thought into, and I'm sure that wasn't easy coming up with that reconfiguration, so, I mean,
Here's all my handwritten scribbles and map reviews and every principal. Really, it started with transportation, because if there wasn't going to be any benefit, transportation, it wasn't worth doing, so that started there. Special ed, every principal, we've had multiple, internal discussions. The staff seems fairly positive about it.
And we checked with facilities, and apparently both Tartesso and Desert Sunset were originally built as K through 8. So it doesn't sound like, other than furniture, that there's gonna be a whole lot of expense there. We don't have to redesign any toilets or anything like that, so that's one of the big costs whenever you change who's housed in a school. So that was a positive.
We did that last week. Well, if we're gonna save this much, but it's gonna cost us this much, is it? So we feel pretty good about the facility changes. It's without the override, this is what we're gonna kind of be doing for a while. And I think it was, almost everything on the west side failed. From Tolleson out to us, everything failed. And I don't know why or how, but I do think that some of the Tolleson Union High School District stuff stuck to,
that no
stuck
one wants
to
to talk
every-
about?
stuck to everybody. I think that was, and then I think each of us had our own little idiosyncrasies in our communities that led to one thing or
At
another.
that football stadium too.
Yeah, that's part of it, and a bunch of other things.
I mean, the Cardinals shouldn't even have a stadium either that we paid for, but, yeah. So, yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying with that plan or whatever, I just think that that's the best option. Like, when people had told me about it, I was like, wow, that sounds like a really well thought out plan, because you have to do what you have to do with the money. But I think with, tax season upon us coming up, I already did some taxes, and you can see that there's gonna be more money in the pockets of like lower and middle class families coming back to them, and that might kind of help them, like some relief where they're not so stressed out about some extra things, because I know, money's tight, and one thing increases and then another thing increases, and everything's going up. It's not just your property taxes,
Yeah,
like your car insurance, homeowners.
car
all of it.
insurance, homeowners insurance,
Mm-hmm.
grocery, luckily gas is down right now, but everything else is still up.
You could buy a whole cow for your freezer for like $3,200, and now it's like $6,800 to get a whole steer, like a cow for your freezer. So meat's crazy.
It's crazy.
Beef is way up.
It's like almost $9.
I was gonna buy a calf for my friend. It's just like $1,500 just for a 6-month-old calf. They used to be, $500-600. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Then you still gotta feed it out for 2 years. So, is it really worth it?
We have our administrative leadership team tomorrow. If anything in that kind of comes to the forefront that I need to share, I will definitely do that this week. We'll continue to have these conversations probably over the next couple of months till we figure out, land on what we want to do.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
A second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I read her lips. She was searching for the unmute button. I could see it. I could read her mind. Thank you, Ms. Dela Cruz. Feel better.
Thank you. Yeah, can you share that with me, what the new, the
Thank you for
new
being such a
transportation
supporter
plan
for it. I've
is?
seen.
Yes, I was just looking it up online.
Okay.
It's very scary.
Appreciate it. No big deal.
It's very scary to think about, to be honest.
Yep.
People, just like when you're yours was just sharing with so many other districts on the west side. There are riots and violence and the east side. Joel, you're done, right?
Yep.
Okay, school closures.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Parents